Growers, hustlers, Grow Generation store nationwide or online, discreet shipping, growgeneration.com. You get the discount code just like you do for Drip Hydro and Fave and Under Canopy Lighting, all on fsotd.com. Go there, hit the sponsors. You get the newest codes at all times for all of our sponsors. Whether it's GrowGen for grow equipment, bags, everything you need, Drip Hydro Nutrients, or Fave and Under Canopy Lighting, fsotd.com gets you hooked up. Just like BlackLeaf said, fsotd.com/the sponsors. And I gotta give a shout out to Dr. Dabber, Raw, and Elements Rolling Papers. You can also find the codes for them on there. Let's go.
It's a clothing brand. What it's become is a platform for people to express their emotions. That's really what we set out to do, is build a brand that normalizes being in touch with your feelings.
In the art and design world, you're gonna get criticism. You're gonna deal with people that you spent all this time on something, they're just like, that's not it. I don't necessarily make stuff just to express myself. I make stuff for people to enjoy.
I think it's good, mental health wise, to be able to express yourself and say what you're feeling, as long as it doesn't negatively affect other people.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to First Smoke of the Day. It's your boy Pack. I'm here with BlackLeaf, and we got Jason and Mandy of Broken Promises in the building today. How you guys doing?
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, dude, we appreciate
Doing
you guys
good.
coming.
Doing good.
You guys have got so much cool gear, so much cool merch.
Thank you.
And it's, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Definitely.
your brother is of Your Highness.
Sean from
Yep.
Your Highness, and my sister-in-law, Becky. Yeah.
Yep.
My twin brother.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah, for
No.
real. Yeah, we're fraternal.
Are you serious?
I'll get into the
How
to
does
the
that
rap
work?
group, to the rap group fraternal as well. But yeah,
Hell yeah. No shit.
I'm pretty sure it starts with sex and then it turns into
That is true. That's
I don't
definitely
believe
correct.
you.
That's
I don't
definitely
believe
correct.
you.
Yeah, but yeah. Fraternal
what is-
meaning identical is like look alike. Yeah, fraternal is
Just same time.
I think it's two separate eggs. And identical is one.
Damn, that's crazy. I would have never known that. You didn't say that.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's in the eyes. I don't know. I don't have a picture of my brother right here, but when
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, "No way," and I'm like, "Yeah, for real."
That's crazy.
I'm the
Yeah.
older brother.
Okay.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I was about to say, how does that work? Even I guess you come out first and then
Popped
that's
out
it.
first.
You seem like the older brother.
They
though, too.
say that that's why I'm taller, because they were pulling on my legs first.
No shit. Are you serious? Nah. You're like, what the?
He's pulling on your leg.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a family thing,
That's dope. Yeah, and we did an episode with them a while back. They're awesome.
Long time.
Yeah, they're awesome. So ever since then, we've been meaning to get up with you guys, and we're happy to be here today.
Yeah, this is the first time we really told our story, so it's a blessing to be here.
Let's jump right into it, man. Tell us about, maybe your first time smoking weed.
First time smoking weed was my first time, like even an experience with weed, was in 5th grade. My boy B, Mr. Pickles, he shout out to B. Love that
like
motherfucker.
a legit dude to smoke some
Hey,
weed with.
met him in 5th grade, been down ever since.
Damn, lifelong friend.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like some small town shit or what, but like, lifelong friend for
If
real.
they say
My
if you're
brother.
friends for over 7 years, probably a lifelong friend.
Yeah, that's my brother for real.
That's dope.
He went up in someone's backpack and grabbed something out of there. And he gave it to me. It was just shake. I carried around in my wallet for like a year, I was too scared to smoke it. He said he smoked it, but we'll never know, But my first time really smoking was summer of 8th grade, going into 9th grade. High school for a reason, I think. But Keebler and Bobby had the bag. It was what we like to describe as stress.
Mm-hmm.
We smoked out of the classic metal pipe with the cap on the top with the chamber that you could.
So my dad had
Some of the worst tasting way you could smoke.
Oh
man.
man, I can
And
smell
we're
the
smoking
metal.
stress, bro. And we're
It's
smoking
better than a
stress.
Coke can. My first time was out of a Coke can.
Yeah,
for
there
sure.
we go. There we go. Yeah, I don't know if I really got high, but it was a bonding experience with those guys. They were fucking evil. I don't know what they're up to, but much love to them. I don't know what they've been doing with their lives, but I didn't really get high. I dipped out. I think I didn't know how it works. So I thought like once you hit it, you're high. And so I dipped out. I was a big skateboarder at the time and went back to my boy Corey's house and skated his ramp out front. And I don't think I really like experienced a high until I met another dude named Mike. And that was in freshman year of high school. Mike was up from Point Arena, Wallala. It's in up on the coast in Mendocino County, and they move different out there, bro.
Oh, that's a good
I grew
place.
up in
The
Santa
early
Rosa. I
days.
was born and raised in Santa Rosa,
Wow.
which is like 45 above San Francisco. So going up to the coast in Point Arena, it was real granola, but like way different, you know. And so it was the first time that like, and they just we went to his house and he popped the door open. There's fucking string lines in the living room with nugs hanging off. Like it was a big shock for me, but we smoked up and I got high then. That was like
Yeah, I
the
bet.
real time. And I love that shit. I mean, I went back home like, I'm going to buy that property. I'm fucking
Yeah.
moving up
I
there.
love that.
Like I'm going to grow weed for life. Like
Mhm.
this is it, bro. So that was like my first time. And I remained friends with Mike for a long time. He's a cool guy. Put me onto a lot of shit. Taught me how to, he got me a cooking job. But like I think I always wanted to be creative and school really wasn't for me. He dropped out of school or he went on home studies or whatever excuse you could give your parents to like stop going to school. So I was like, I told my mom like, "Yo, put me on home studies. I got skateboarding for PE. We'll do home ec. And I'll smoke in between." And you know, it worked out. She gave me a lot of credits and shit. And my dad was, my mom, I love her to death, but my dad was a little more strict. He came from a big party background and he was just like, if school's not it, that's cool, but you got to work, you got to make money. And so I ended up getting a job cooking with Mike, and he I actually cooked at this restaurant called Johnny Garlic's. It's Guy Fieri's first restaurant in Windsor, California. And Guy taught me how to like cook on the line and shit. When I was able to cook, I first started washing dishes. You got to start at the low level grunt work shit. But yeah, I mean,
That's crazy. Learn from
That's awesome.
Shout out Guy Fieri.
what's he like?
Yeah.
Seems like a real character.
I mean, I've never had a bad experience with him.
Mhm.
Now,
That's it.
there's a lot of people that say a lot of shit about people who are celebrities and shit, but like this was way before he was a celebrity. The Food Network wasn't even really cracking. Like
Right.
Julia Child was on
Mhm.
Food Network. I don't know if you know who that is, but she's an
Mhm.
old cook lady. But
Did he look the same? Did he
yeah, he
have
looked the
like
same.
the bleached hair?
yeah,
And
for real. Yeah, he had the Dickie shorts and like the
That is a vibe.
bleach thing right here and the spike shit. That was his shit, bro. He
Mhm.
like the uniform was like Dickie shirts and you know.
That's cool.
He came in with his sunglasses on backwards. Just
No way.
yeah, bro, talking big
He,
shit.
yeah,
But
he hasn't changed a bit.
and he had a yellow whip, bro, and he still does to this day. He's got like the big.
The
yellow
last time I
Hummer
seen
and
some
the
shit
yellow-
on him was like his Lambo got stolen or some shit, and then
Wow.
like he saw someone driving in it on the road and like passed him or something.
Love
like
that.
called it in. I don't know if he got it back or whatever, but crazy.
Love that. I mean, he's done a lot of great things for Santa Rosa. He gave so much money
Mhm.
back to the fire department when there was a huge.
Oh, so he's
wildfire
from
there
over
and
there.
shit. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I think he's originally from somewhere else, but he
went there.
lived in Santa Rosa for a long ass time.
And for people listening, Santa Rosa is where they host the Emerald Cup. It's definitely a
Napa Valley.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mecca for cannabis. So
Very
growing
dope
up there
area.
is crazy.
A lot of cool shit coming out of there.
Well, and then you guys, like, I mean, just to reference what Broken Promise Co. is, so people know, like, everything.
sure.
Like, give us a little bit of a reference. Like, what is Broken Promises?
What is Broken Promises? Well, it's a clothing brand, but I think, you know, what it's become is a platform for people to express their emotions. That's really what we set out to do, is build a brand that normalized being in touch with your feelings. Because I was just having a conversation about this shit the other day with the owner of Connected, Caleb. You guys have had him on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, just like, why do you think the world is the way it is? Like, why is everyone just so emotional and shit? And I was telling him, I think it's probably because there's so many ways to express yourself now on platforms, on social media and shit. It's like really easy to put the way you feel and talk about yourself and shit. And sometimes that rubs people the wrong way, but I think it's good mental health wise to be able to express yourself and say what you're feeling, as long as it doesn't negatively affect other people. You know what I'm saying?
I think everyone needs an outlet.
Yeah, thanks.
You got to find your outlet. Otherwise, what? You're just going to bottle it up? I mean, that's why people go do ayahuasca and shit, because they have a hard time crying or laughing
Or build
or
cars
smiling.
or fucking cook, dude. I mean, there's a ton of like very healthy ways to like do that shit. I mean, yeah, even mushrooms or ayahuasca too, dude. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of that shit is also for like a reset, you know, to be like,
No, it is. But like,
yeah,
some of us have grown up, tough to talk about this type of shit, but like if you had a dad that was intense, that was like, you know, I'll give you something to cry about, beat the hell out of you if you cry. And then if you cry, he's going to beat you even more.
I think
So when you get an adult,
like,
you don't know how to show your emotions. You don't know how to
parenting has
express.
become a lot different now. We don't have kids, but a lot of our friends do. And you kind of aren't allowed to say, don't cry to a kid anymore. It used to be like that. It used to be like, be a man, don't cry, don't be sad. And now you're supposed to allow them to express those feelings, and it's healthier. And I think the younger generations, they understand that, you know?
Yeah, it always seemed like for me growing up, like if you let your kids be emotional and shit, you were on some hippie shit.
Yeah.
And now, fast forward, it's like, bro, they had it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For real though.
You know? But
those are the happy, like some of the happiest people, carefree people that don't need much to be happy. I mean, the bar's low.
Really?
But yeah, the other side of it is like you might have grown up not being able to express yourself or your emotions. Like even like there's a lot of parents, like when I'm growing up, like controlling how their kids dress. Like my dad used to like be hard on me about, oh, you can't wear those shoes. You need to wear those other, like dumb shit, where it's like, when I got the opportunity, I was like, I'm wearing whatever the fuck I want. Cause my mom was the opposite. She was like, cut your hair however you want, wear whatever you want. Oh, you think that's cool? Perfect. Do that. So I had like both worlds just like conflicting. So when you get an adult, you're like, you're in conflict. You don't know, you know, you have like two sides of you. And it's like, if you don't find an outlet, you have a hard time.
For me, at least, I could see like even my dad being like, I don't want my kid to grow up and have like be a certain way, have a certain type of like persona. God forbid he's gay or something, you know, like, bro. And the way the world is now, like everything is so acceptable. And like, I'm not saying shit was wrong then, but it's just evolved like in a major fucking way, in a positive way, you know? And like people that talk in a negative way or say like, I wish things would go back there, are just like anti-change, anti-evolution. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't work for everyone, right? And so meaning like those people, if they feel better holding their feelings in, then okay, right? That's for you to do then. That's your life and how you want to process your feelings. But it seems like to most people, including psychologists, that's the whole point, is to get it out, to figure it out. Why do I feel this way? And hopefully solve it before it's a trigger for something way bigger that happens. And we all know what we're talking about with so many levels. But so that's what Broken Promise Co. means to you. The same with you, Mandy? Is that what it means for you?
Yeah, I think a lot of our customers have a deeper connection to our brand because we do promote that.
What's up, First Smoke of the Day crew? Looking for the ultimate vaping experience? Dr. Dabber has got you covered. Dr. Dabber is all about developing the coolest, most innovative vaporizers on the planet. They take risks other companies won't to bring you the best vape pens and electronic dab rigs out there. At Dr. Dabber, they only use top-notch materials. Want to up your vape game? Use promo code FIRSTSMOKE2024 for 15% off. drdabber.com. Hit up your local vape shop or swing by their website and see what makes Dr. Dabber the best in the biz. At Dr. Dabber on Instagram or drdabber.com. Use code FIRSTSMOKE2024. Hey, if you guys are interested in under canopy lighting, our friends over at Faven Lighting have you covered. With over 3 years of R&D, they are your commercial solution for under canopy lighting. Connect with them on favenlighting.com or at Faven Lighting on Instagram. Use the code FSOTD and get buy one, get one free, $20 off the second light, or you can get it at favenlighting.com. There's a 32 light max.
And we've had people come to us and say, you know, this graphic or this phrase or this thing that you dropped, it reminded me of this tough time that I went through, or I really connected to it because of, you know, my ex did this. And yeah, they have that deeper emotional connection to our brand. And I think that's what makes Broken Promises different from other brands.
I mean, bro, I'm an emotional guy for sure. And like, I've been told that my whole life. I think in other ways, like people be like, you're a bitch, you know, or something like that. But like, it's funny. It is. Cause like, well, I'm laughing at
them because that's their interpretation of something they don't understand.
No, exactly.
So
bro.
that's what I'm laughing about.
Bro. Exactly. Yeah. And it takes time to like realize that for yourself, you know, and like kids who are getting bullied and shit like that. It's hard to like recognize that top down when that shit's happening in your life. But you know, that's why we're trying to like have that platform and shit to speak to give some of those people a voice.
Some of the best, most prolific artists in the world ever were emotional people. It's the reason Van Gogh cut his ear off.
Yeah.
There's the reason that these things have, and it's, they perceive things in other ways, right? Even emotion and color.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with
We're
art.
humans. I mean, that's what connects us all, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, that's what the brand's all about. And we figured out a way to monetize it.
What was it like growing up in Santa Rosa?
Santa Rosa was sick. I mean,
it's beautiful.
It's a small town, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like when I first took Mandee up there, she was like, damn, I have cell phone service here. Like, this is crazy. And
that's
I'm like,
funny.
Bro,
here's your overall.
Like not that far from San Francisco. Like, what the fuck, man?
It's a vibe out there.
It is. But
there's a lot of cows.
There's a lot of cows and shit like that. But like farm party, like, you know, like
it's really beautiful.
That's the vibe. Yeah. And I skated a lot. Like I said, I was working like at a very young age, making money and cooking. I think I always wanted to be like a really creative person. Cooking is like a great, like creative expression. And then you get to like eat that as long as it's good, you know, like, I did that shit for a long time. And there was a point, I mean, when I was young, I had a lot to prove to a lot of people who didn't really mean shit in my life. And I caught a bunch of cases and I was in and out of juvenile hall and in and out of jail. And
what do you think that stemmed from?
I just wanted to be down so bad, bro. In my middle school, my 5th grade friends, everybody that I linked up with, we were all skaters. During that time, it was like skaters versus breakers. You know, there's that was the deal.
That was think about.
That's the fucking deal there. And like, I like both. You know, I had homies who were breakdancers and I had homies who were skaters. So I was like, I ride both sides. You know, and I don't know. I got mixed up with the wrong crowd, and I got on I caught a case with my homie Mike. I got on diversion and I fucked up and they put me on probation. So I couldn't smoke. So I started messing with powders and just going down that road. And I was young, bro. I was 16.
Damn. You're around people who were like, yeah, that's the way it goes.
There was a dude on my block who was like an older cat. And I was like, he's such a thug, you know, like I want to be like him. Like I definitely like idolize that shit. And, you know, when they're banging Yuck Mouth and fucking all that Bay Area gangster shit, it's like, I want to be down, bro. And I tried to be, and it just really wasn't me. But, yeah, I did some time, and I took a break from smoking, obviously. And, you know, my bro, he was like, he met me at a rehab, and he was like, cause I caught a case, and then I was trying to get out of jail, and, they were like, yeah, we can let you out, but you got to go to a rehab. So they signed me for a 3-year rehab. Whoa. And I was like, cool, you know, I'm gonna have street clothes, I'm gonna be fucking some bitches, and I'm gonna be out. So if it's in a rehab, fuck it, it's better than jail. And
they put you in the psych ward.
They put me they put me in a 30-day rehab, and I was like, lit, this is fucking great. I went on my first furlough. My bro pulled up, and he was just like, are you gonna just be like this guy who's like a fake gangster and like a loser, bro? Like, I'll do whatever. He's my twin, bro. He's my best friend. So he's like, you know, I'll do whatever it takes to fucking ride with you so you don't gotta go back. And I was like, I can't drink, I can't smoke, I can't like be hanging out with the same people that I've been hanging out with. I need to get a crib like outside of where we live. And he was like, ride or die, bro. Let's do it. And that was a super powerful, but like, man, I didn't go to jail for a long ass fucking time after that. Long time, many, many years. And, you know, I continued on like just doing my cooking shit. We had a rap group. Me and my bro started a rap group. Like I learned all my entrepreneurship from my bro. My bro, I don't know if he talked about this when he was here, but he fell 30 feet through a building, broke his back, broke his arm, broke his heel. And I was cooking at a beautiful restaurant in Healdsburg. It's called Hotel Healdsburg. If you guys are up there, you should go. It's delicious. Met one of my really good friends, Michael Voltaggio. He was the head chef there. Shout out, Mike. He's on Food Network now. Oh, no. The new wave.
I was going to say, man, we got to hit Guy up too.
That's what I'm saying. He's tight with Guy.
I want to smoke. I want to smoke one with Guy.
Guy doesn't remember you or what?
I mean, I seen him. I ran up on him at Bottle Rock and was like, yo, what's up? And he was like, yo, bro, Tramo. That's my last name. And because me and my bro worked in there. And so, you know,
he remembers
you though. He's a movie star, bro. He's on some big clout shit. So he was just like, yo, man, cool, you know. But Michael's been my boy forever and through thick and thin. But yeah, dude.
He got you out and you hadn't gone to jail for a long time.
You were working at Hotel Healdsburg.
Yeah. Yeah, he broke his back and shit. So he was on government pay. And when he was on disability, he started making beats. Like during that time, like Mystic Journeyman, Living Legends, like RIPs, I&I, like all these guys were doing their backpack shit, independent wave of making music. And my bro was just like, oh, I'm going to be a producer and I'm going to make rap songs. And I was like, this like fake gangster guy. So I was like, oh, bro, I rap. You know? Yeah. So, or I can. I mean, even if I never have, like, we're going to start a rap group. You're going to make all the beats. You're going to do the production. You do your raps. I'll do my raps. And we built a group and we got it cracking. He was fucking good.
What was it called?
It's called Fraternal.
Fraternal.
For the Fraternal Twins. Yeah. So, and we played some we played some shows with like KRS-One and shit. Like we did some shit out there in the Bay. We were moving around a lot. And at that time, like my bro was trapping and making music and I was just working a 9 to 5, but he was on some real entrepreneur shit. He was like, I'm not ever doing the shit you're doing, Jason, like clocking in at Home Depot. And that's not me, bro. Like I'm on my grind. I'm on my shit. And so I always like look to him in a way of like, damn, I need to get like you, bro. Like I'm cool. But like, why am I stuck over here at this fucking 9 to 5, like doing this shit? So I learned a lot of entrepreneurship from him when we did our rap group, and he was like, we got to press the CDs. We got to sell the CDs. It's all about volume. We can sell them at a cheap price for fucking more music out there. Like this motherfucker, he's so humble, bro, but he really laced me. Like really laced me. So, and he was trapping, and he came down here when he was trying to get his packs off, and he linked with this production duo, Midi Mafia, and ended up moving down here, working in their studio shit, making songs for Fantasia and John Legend, and working with Frank Ocean. Shit. Wow. Did hella songs with Frank Ocean. And
that's crazy.
Ty Dolla
he had Ty Dolla $ign at the studio. Wow. He had YG.
Sean, you left a lot of shit out, bro, in the fucking episode.
I know. We need that intro for first smoke of the day, big dog. Damn.
Yeah.
No, but that
he's
makes
so
sense.
Humble, bro.
Yes.
He's so humble.
And he's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
He's kind of
me and him, you know, you can see that like I'm an extrovert, you know. Mm-hmm. Maybe I will try to overshadow him. That might be it.
Well, you were the rapper. You got to talk. I mean, he's making beats. Yeah. I like how he took the weed game and tried to applied it to selling CDs. If we can offer them at a low, we can get more out. You can see the parallels.
For real, out there. Bro. All of that shit, like he moved to LA, and then I followed him to LA because he was getting it cracking. He had all kinds of people in the studio, and I was like, we need a feature. You
let them know I rap, right?
Yeah, exactly. Bro.
We need the Fraternal Mendo Dope collab.
Fuck
the Mendo Dope.
Hey, I mean, if Fraternal is on Spotify and Apple Music, and you guys want to go check it out for sure. See if I got bars. You know, you could leave it in the comments under here.
That's dope.
I'll probably open.
But that says a lot, man. To go that far. Like some people might have some songs they got in their computer, but to put yourself out there on the line and be like, yeah, here's some art that I created. It mimics what you're getting into now as well.
It's really my brother's vision. Like he's the one that had the fucking cojones to like really put the beats out there and put his rhymes on CDs and like go out there and slang them. I was just like a feature to his shit in the beginning. And then my ego really took off when people started fucking with it. But I mean, we ended up linking in LA. I got fired from my job because I caught a transfer. But shout out to Rob, my old boss. He took me to the strip club on a company card. He was the like sickest boss ever. So shout out to Big Rob.
Dude, step up, Pack. We don't ever get stuff like that here. God, what,
bro? You better treat your employees right.
Card.
This guy's got short-term memory loss.
It's the first time I ever went to a strip club, bro.
Memory of a 80-year-old.
The first time? Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. I was about to say, damn, on the company card, first time?
The first and only time I've been, bro.
and then you got fired.
Oh, true.
Yeah. I caught a transfer and then I got fired. But at that time, then I really told my brother, like, hey, teach me how to grow, because he was growing. And I was like, let me just help you in the garden. And then we split 50-50.
Yeah, love it.
And we ended up he was growing in a tent in the garage, and we ended up building out the whole garage and putting the ACs in the rafters and doing shit that I do not recommend doing. Shit, that was probably like you were saying that was like around 2008 when like wax hit. So
yeah,
like
8, 9, probably right in there.
2006.
Wow, prime time.
You know.
We're growing OGs or what?
No, we were not growing OGs. We were growing a Maui Wowie cut, green crack, and this grape ape cut.
Oh,
and
damn!
But OGs were just like on the upswing, you know.
Yep.
The ape, big one.
Yeah. I mean, we had a grape terp that just smelled like candy, you know, pre-candy. But yeah, like that. And the Maui had that like crazy fruity bag appeal too. Those were the only two strains that we grew because like we could always get them off. We were getting good money, you know. Shout out to Sahar and David, my guys.
Yeah.
You know, like we were getting good money all the time, and that's when my real like weed story began, was down here in the valley. Everybody was like, don't move to the valley, bro. You're going to get your car stolen. And I was like, nah. And I did get my car stolen.
Damn, they were right.
Yeah, they were right, bro.
Okay.
It was fucked up.
Oh shit.
But we were doing the
What kind of car was
prop. It was a sick Audi.
it? Okay.
I got it back. They just like boosted the stereo out of there. But I mean, you could have just boosted the stereo.
First Smoke family, grow generation stores nationwide, discreet delivery to your door, your residence, or your business. If you use the code FIRSTSMOKE10, you get 10% off. It doesn't matter if it's in store or online. They cover all grow needs, no matter if you're looking for vacuum seal bags, all the way to cloning supplies, nutrient lines, lighting, grow bags, cocoa. I mean everything. Grow Generation stores nationwide. Get with GrowGen. Use the code FIRSTSMOKE10.
Yo, what's good, First Smoke family? Ever wonder what makes the perfect smoke even better? It's Raw Rolling Papers. Raw Rolling Papers wants to make the greatest rolling papers in the history of smoke kind. That's Raw's goal, and they continually improve their existing products and create new ones to help uplift the entire smoking world. Whether you're rolling up solo or sharing a session with friends, Raw's commitment to quality and innovation means you get the best experience every time. Because at Raw, we believe we all get higher together. So the next time you're at your local smoke shop, ask for Raw Rolling Papers and elevate your smoke. Stay lifted, everyone. Smoke Raw Rolling Papers.
You have to take my whole shit.
Joyriding shit.
Then I had to go into the police station and be like, dude, I think my car got stolen. Like, I don't even know what to do. I'm not trying to really talk to the cops or have them come to my house. So
I need that car back.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly, dude.
So
exactly.
lead us up until when you guys meet. And then I want to hear
For
Mandy.
Sure. I was working with my bro, 215 era. We were crushing it. We were doing great. My boy B was up on the coast. He was bringing packs down. And he was like, hey, hash, it's a thing, bro. We can make a lot of money doing this. And first it was water hash, and then it evolved into like wax and BHO. And like that whole thing gave me it was crazy, bro. We were bringing down pounds of wax, and it was a fun time. And my bro was still doing his like growing shit, and I had just basically became B's employee. I was moving back and forth from Santa Rosa a lot, and then I caught another case, and I dipped out of LA. I went back to Santa Rosa and got it popping up there again, and partnered with one of my ex's dads. We had like three spots, and then shit went crazy up there. So I dipped again, and I went down to LA, and this time it was like, I'm not gonna grow no more. Like, I got so much heat on me. I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. And I linked up with Michael Voltaggio. He had a restaurant on Melrose called Inked. And so I was like, hey bro, let me in here. You're my boy. Like, I'm trying to restart my life. I'm trying to fucking figure out. And this whole time I wasn't really like smoking. I was just living and making money. And Michael was like, yeah, anything for you, bro. You're the homie. And so I was working there for a while, and I had recently got cheated on. And the girl cheated on me with this dude who was like a model. And I was like, fuck this fool. I can model. I'm a handsome motherfucker. I've been told this shit before. I'm going to do some modeling shit, and I'm going to show that bitch like she's nothing. So I started modeling, and one of the first jobs that I got put on was for this Karma Loop. And it was for like a Valentine's Day thing. And they casted me and Mandy together.
No shit.
That's when we met. We have pictures of the day that we met.
Karma
Which
was
is
the
crazy.
plug. Maybe it still is, but that was the plug.
Yeah, that was the spot to go shop.
Yeah,
It really
it was
was.
popping at the time.
It still was actually Cosmo,
Is it still online?
which was like the streetwear link to Karma Loop. Karma Loop had like all the big brands, and then like the smaller streetwear brands were on Cosmo. So that's the shit that we did. Was
That's
Cosmo,
dope.
yeah.
And so get into your background and then leading up to
how'd that play out? The model
She
shoot
fell
and
in love
everything.
right away, my bro.
Man.
They made us hold hands and shit because it was like a Valentine's
That
Day
is
thing.
true. Yeah.
Oh man, shout out to you. That's a
So
what
is
a
that true?
play.
Like when people star in movies together and shit, like that's truly how, like, you know,
I guess
there
like
was
you're
chemistry,
forced
bro.
to act like
Yeah.
you have chemistry. So then I could see how with actors.
When she
it's
looked
a
into these blue eyes, bro.
Well, and if you do have chemistry and then it's just a bonus, it's like, yeah, here's an intro that you didn't even have to break the ice or do anything awkward.
I
or
was so
Right.
hyped, bro. She's still like such a 10 and like way out of my league. So when I got casted, I was just like,
You imagine?
thank
It's like
the
the
heavens,
Leo.
bro.
Yeah.
Thank the heavens. Yeah. And she pulled up in a caddy, like flexing, brought out the new era bags that she designed. Like she was really getting it. And I was like on my used X5. Windows don't even roll down. Yeah.
What
Tell him,
did you
man.
ever hear from your ex after that?
Never, bro.
Never.
Never.
You think she saw the ad?
I mean, I had
He did a
billboards. I
lot
had
after
billboards
that.
on
You
You can thank your
Sunset.
ex for meeting Mandy.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
trippy.
Yeah.
He
Damn.
did. Both of us did really big campaigns when we were modeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I had a
sick.
billboard on Sunset. Like I did some shit. It was cool.
We were
Fire.
like complete
Shout out
opposites,
Estevan
though.
Oriel. He shot the
Oh,
campaign.
sick.
Like
Oh, that's sick.
yeah,
Wow.
super.
That's
lit.
dope.
OG
What
in
year is
LA.
this? Like 2010 or something?
When did we meet, dude?
No.
12?
2014.
Yeah, 14.
14, yeah.
10 years ago.
Damn. So did you guys do multiple model shoots, or like where'd it go from there? You start
Talent.
dating around? Yeah.
Eventually we will, yeah. But we were like a yin and yang. His story is the complete opposite of mine. I was like a good kid, you know? I did good in school. I was an honor student. And my first time smoking weed was with like some randos, like C-level characters in my life, not like my best friends. It was
Sounds about
some
right.
kid Andrew and probably this girl Shanae, but I was the first in my friend group to have a car. So I was like the dedicated person to drive to the park or whatever. And the first time I hit it, I probably didn't feel anything. I was just trying to be cool with them, but I also was not trying to get in trouble. But the kid Andrew was cool because he had like a roar bong, and that was the thing.
That was some shit back then.
I always hated that name because I feel like I can't pronounce it, even though I speak English. Like I hate that word, but yeah. So the two of them were probably the first people that introduced me to weed. Be funny if they listen because it's so random. I don't talk to these people anymore.
Yeah.
But my parents put me into modeling when I was like 16, around that same time. I didn't really like it, to be honest. I'm not like a spotlight type of person. I'm very introverted. And so I didn't really enjoy it, but I'm kind of glad that I went through that because I did classes for runway modeling and even like how to do basic makeup, like things like that. And I did a few campaigns at the time, but I always really liked fashion and I just wanted to be more behind the scenes. So I'm like, I'm going to be a fashion designer. I just decided one day, I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. But I legit like could not even draw. So I was trying to figure out how I could get into art school without being able to draw. And like, how am I going to make a portfolio and get in, you know? So I took this crazy intensive summer art class that was like 8 hours a day for like 2 months. And I just try to learn how to be an artist. Like I forced myself. I'm like, I have to do this. I have to learn how to draw. Like I need to be good and I need to get into college. And that's what the whole program was. Like they helped you make your portfolio. And one of my teachers, his name's John Sweeney. He's a an amazing storyboard artist for video games, and he did he did a bunch of work for The Last of Us. He created like a bunch of the backgrounds and characters and everything.
Epic show.
Yeah, one of my favorite games.
Yes. Yeah.
And when I saw his name on there, I like reached back out to him, and he sent us a bunch of cool stuff and collectibles. And
I mean, the game is sick as fuck.
It's like my favorite.
We're big gamers over here, so but the game is sick as fuck. Yeah, it was sick to be like, oh, you know him, like.
He like taught me how to draw pretty much.
Damn.
Yeah. He's amazing.
It's like one of the biggest HBO shows right now. Everyone's waiting on season 2. And the game was even bigger. That's why they made a show out of it. I'm sure there's going to be a movie at some point too. Like
The Last of Us?
Yeah. You got to see it. It's a crazy premise. I won't get into it, but it's basically spores take over your body because this is what they think would be the next pandemic, or a pandemic we wouldn't be able to come back from. And it's crazy. You basically turn into a mushroom, but it sounds corny, but it's not, because you are releasing spores and that's how other people get sick. It's fucking crazy. But
it's
the
basically
drawings
like
and the
a
art
zombie
is nuts.
game.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. It's very.
It's way more of a story than that, but essentially it's a zombie shooter.
It's epic.
Yeah.
It's very cool. If you like that type of stuff.
So how long did it take you to learn how to draw or be
Basically,
confident?
those 2 months I put together my portfolio and submitted it to Otis, and I got in. And then I went, I got my bachelor's degree from Otis. The first year that you go, you don't really pick your major yet. Just everyone does the same first year. You learn everything from like art history to basic color theory and form and space, and you draw a nude model. And I think like the biggest lesson that I learned in college, this one professor, he's out of his damn mind. He told everybody for a 6-hour all day class, we had to draw one nude model, and everyone's in a circle around. So everyone gets a different angle of the model. And for 6 hours straight, you're working on it in pencil, and it's full size, like 6-foot canvas.
Oh, that's wild.
And then at the end of it, he walked around, looked at everyone's, I don't remember if he graded at that point, but then he's like, all right, everyone tear it up to shreds. And so after you spent all this time working on it, you had to destroy it. And I think that made me like separate myself from my work and learn how to not be so attached to it, because in the art and design world, you're going to get criticism and you're going to deal with people that you spent all this time on something. And they're just like, that's not it.
And they need that revision. And you're like, dog, this is perfect.
Or just reject
I feel bad because I'm a little bit like that with my graphic designers and shit. I'm like, even video editors, like, fuck, I spent all day, all night on that. And I'm like, no,
that ain't it. Yeah.
Scrap it.
Yeah.
He won't even answer. That's even worse.
No, I feel a little bad. Yeah, because you're right. Like, it's not a quick process.
Yeah.
But on the other end, I mean, it definitely pushes you to be like, all right,
for sure.
well, I can push myself to make the,
You have to be resilient
fucking
with that.
To do a full size, that is a big undertaking. Yes, I was thinking you were going to say like a sketch pad, but no, full size.
Yeah.
Wow.
Full size.
And then you rip it up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you see yourself progressing through this? Like, because I've heard with some artists, I listen to Howard Stern, he talks about he literally has to work at it to become a better painter. Like, yes, you have some natural ability sometimes, but you still have to work towards a goal, right? Years and years of art.
Yeah, I actually had to learn it. I mean, I don't think I actually had talent in me as an artist. I don't really even consider myself an artist now. I think I'm a designer because I don't necessarily make stuff just to express myself. I make stuff for people to enjoy. Like, I design things for other people, whether it's a client or my customer for my brand. So
yeah, it really depends on how you want to like put that label on there, you know? Yeah.
I'm not going to reject it if someone's like calls me an artist and something, but I don't really identify as that. Yeah.
And so your journey is in art school, and then where does it go?
Yeah, so the 2nd through the 4th year, I'm in fashion school. That's when I learned textiles and how to sew and pattern making. And you got to make a full suit, like from scratch. And they had cool mentorship programs. One of them I did with Sean John. One of them I did with O'Neill. And then one of them was a designer called Todd Oldham. So those were my 3 like final mentorship programs. In the very
I
beginning,
thought you worked with the dude from Hurley too, yeah?
that my roommate was Hurley in the Hurley program.
That's dope.
First smoke of the day, family. Having a successful harvest shouldn't be this complicated. Drip Hydro understands how investing in different nutrients can be expensive and confusing. With over 30 years in the cultivation industry, they set out to develop a clean, simple, concentrated, affordable, and effective nutrient line. The mission to give growers back their money, time, and peace of mind while keeping your irrigation running smoothly. The fluid line provides your plants with the proper nutrition they require and desire throughout their entire lifetimes. If you want to give Drip Hydro a try in your garden, use our promo code and get 10% off. The code is FIRSTSMOKE10. That gets you hooked up with any Drip Hydro product, 10% off. So head to your local grow store or visit driphydro.com and let Drip help you achieve the bountiful harvest that you need. Hey, First Smoke family, BlackLeaf drops are selling out in California and Washington. No matter what state you're in, it's super simple. Just go to blackleaf.la, hit the store locator, and you can find the nearest shop to you that got the new drops. Whether it's the Zerbo, the Prism, you know we've been on the Black Cherry, or some of our new rosin flavors. Hit the store locator, find the drop.
I think that's when I actually smoked and got high, was in college, because it was accessible and I was in a comfortable environment in like my apartment and we had snacks and stuff and I realized it made doing homework easier, which was doing art, but you know, it was intensive.
Makes being in the
time.
house easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point to a fault, you know, because you don't get out as much, but
yeah.
It definitely helps.
Yeah.
Especially with creativity. I find you find a lot of artists that it helps their creativity, right? And they need the balance of both on and off. But yeah, you hear even with like Rogan and stuff, he talks about he'll get super stoned and then write for 2 hours straight, just anything. But it's like, yeah, you start to. So where does that go? You obviously get comfortable with people around. I smoked for in college for the first time as well. So yeah, good kids around bad people, man. You know, where does it go from there?
So my first teacher when I was in my fashion classes was like, you should choose something else to do. Like, you're not very good at this. And I took that to heart, but I kind of turned it into my motivation to be like, I got here, you know, I couldn't draw and I got here and now I'm going to get to graduating. But all the other girls just wanted to do, I guess I would call it like corporate fashion. And I was hanging out with bands and skaters and I was like, I'm going to do streetwear. And I was the only one in my whole class that was going to do like graphic driven stuff. And I think that set me apart because when we're comparing everybody's work, mine was just so different that they couldn't like grade it against someone's ball gown. You know, it's just not the same thing. And at the end, my portfolio was, I got invited back to speak. Let's just say that.
That's
yeah,
sick.
After
So what that teacher say?
I didn't even
No
go
more
back.
interactions?
Yeah, I didn't go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did really well at the end. I aced my finals and I had my portfolio, and my first job I actually found on Craigslist, Brooklyn Dom from Brooklyn Projects.
Wow.
Had a listing on there to work at the skate shop, and I replied to it and I went and I worked in the skate shop and I was gripping boards and I met a bunch of skaters and I was still hanging out with Bree and we would go and like play hide and go seek at P-Rod's house and crazy shit like that. And I was like, yo, Dom, I can do design. Like, let me do some shit for you. And he's like, okay. I started with a few flyers for events and stuff for the shop. And then I ended up doing 2 Nike dunks with him. We did the paparazzi dunk and the Rain and Blood Slayer dunk together.
Damn.
So he credited me on all the articles, and yeah, shout out to Dom. He put me on. But one of the times that I was going to pick up goods for the shop from the Hundreds office, I met Bobby, and I was telling him, you know, I'm trying to be a designer. I just graduated. He's like, do you have anything to show me? And I'm like, I got my portfolio in my trunk. Like, I carry it with me. Let me go get it and show it to you. And I showed it to him that day, and I got an internship at the Hundreds. And I worked there for maybe a year, doing graphics, doing tech packs, editing photos, just all kinds of stuff.
And you're working directly with Ben and Bobby at the time? Or?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And Benji, who was doing the art.
What year is this?
Oh my God. I'm going to
We went to
age
listen to them
myself.
speak at like 2013 at Agenda
It
Trade
was probably
Show.
right around 2013-ish.
Did you used to go to like Agenda and stuff like that?
Yes.
Those are the days, right? Long Beach Convention Center. Like they would have talks on the side. We would go listen to like John Buscemi and Jerry Lorenzo and, you know, Kill Spencer. I mean, all
It
these
was
guys
a
that were doing
huge
crazy
party.
shit.
The first Agenda that I went to, Dom had Chris Brown in his booth because we were working with him on some Black Pyramid stuff. And I sat with Chris Brown in a booth with the table in front of us for like all day. And one of my friends from college loves Chris Brown, like obsessed. And I seen her out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, hey, this is going to be really funny. And so I'm like, hey, Noelle, come over here. And she comes, and I'm like, hey, meet my friend Chris. And he's just like, hey, what's up? It was
She froze up.
Yeah, she did.
That's funny.
Yeah,
So what does that
flex.
teach you though? I mean, because
Brown loves the groupies.
Yeah.
He was
He's
sweet
still running
to
it
me.
up.
Oh man. They smoked through a pound of some BlackLeaf flower back in the day. You remember that?
Partying a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. His manager wanted to get him a birthday gift at one point out here, and he reached out to buy a pound of some fire from us, and we wrapped it up in a black bow and had it in a BlackLeaf thing. Went up to the crib but yeah, he definitely likes good weed, which is dope. When you start because these are massive companies at this time, streetwear is king at this time.
Right place, right time for
And
sure.
the Hundreds was really popping at the time.
Top.
And Brooklyn Projects too. I mean, both those had a lot of street credit. That's when Fairfax was at its peak.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was like our first days coming out here, like 2012, and we would just go straight to Fairfax, get some weed. That was when LA had all the vibes. I mean, you came
Fairfax
out here,
was popping at that point.
yeah, every day was like
It
a street party,
bro.
every day.
Yeah.
But it was also like every day someone was in there. You know, I met Muska, I met
Tyler.
Yeah,
Neckface,
Tyler was out there all the
Everyone was
time.
out there.
Esteban Oriole, Mr. Cartoon. Like, I was just meeting all these fools like every single day, just trying to build my network, you know?
And you're
Yeah.
working at the Hundreds office. I mean, that's a mecca too of streetwear.
Was that above
You know
the
who
store?
ran that block
Wall Street.
is Anwar.
Not
from
above the
Carrots.
store.
Okay.
It was the,
He was out
the
there
Wall Street warehouse.
all the time, bro.
Anwar was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was on Fairfax. Like, that was his block.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big Anwar. That was an awesome
He talks
episode.
about that in the episode, how the reason they were up there all the time is because to be at home would be to be in Compton in the hood. Like, and they knew that was their way out,
Fuck, for real.
which
bro.
is dope, you know?
It's crazy when you come from, an outsider and you go up onto Fairfax and it's like the locals there are like iconic, bro.
Yes.
You know? You're like,
Yeah.
damn.
For sure.
I'm trying
Even
to
the
be
dudes
this
that
guy.
worked at the shops became like popping.
Yeah, Spody from Supreme. I mean, bro, like
Yeah.
they're all out there. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's idolize. It's like kid,
Pink
all the
Dolphin.
kids.
I mean, you had
idolize
all
that.
Yeah.
the spots going.
Yeah, Huff was at the end.
Yes.
Bro, yeah.
Obviously, Nick
Ru-
Diamond.
Ruka for a
Dope.
while was there.
Dope was there.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a big
That was
one
my
at the
shit.
time. Yeah.
Dude, when that shit
I was
first popped
doped
up.
out in 2013. I got head to toe. I got a picture all dope, even the
Bro,
socks.
their hat hit so hard that Dope hat, that was damn near like what was the other brand? Van something. But yeah, that hat you saw everywhere. Dope.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but
One
you're
of the campaigns we did. Yeah.
you're in the mix, and you're doing what with the hundreds? How's this evolved now? Because I mean, what a special time and place.
Yeah, so after that, I got my first real job at Vans, and I worked in the footwear department. I did classics, mostly women's, but some men's and kids classics footwear.
Like designing?
Yep.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah.
They have a huge office down in OC, or where was that at?
Yeah, it moved. I was at the Cypress one, and now they're in Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
And so, how do you take designing? Because with the hundreds, I'm sure you're in the mix and you're seeing, and you still have your passion of wanting to do what you do, and that's design. How does it go from that to designing for Vans? Did you apply for a job? Did you hear about something like?
Yeah, I applied for an internship first, and then I stayed on as a contract designer after that. Yeah.
And you had,
And they're way bigger than like the hundreds, just for being around way
that
longer,
was like
right?
a real corporate environment.
Yeah.
You know, you had the suits in there. It was like the real deal. And all the designers worked in this upstairs loft, and then production and marketing and everyone was downstairs. So we could overlook the whole rest of it, and we could go down and ask about the whole process through manufacturing, look at samples. And it was a lot of people up in there. Yeah.
Wow.
But I was still, tied into the skateboard world. And yeah.
That's sick.
After that, I shortly worked at a company called Monroe for these two women. They do a little bit more high-end fashion basics. It's in like Fred Siegel and department stores and things like that. And that was a smaller office, but I learned really how to do cut and sew there. They did everything in LA. So I would work on the design with them, and then I would take the pattern and I would go get it graded, like in Vernon. And then
What does that mean?
Yeah.
it's like when so you make a pattern on a mannequin of how it's going to be shaped, and then you got to take it to get it mathematically transferred to multiple sizes, because it starts as like model size or a small, but then you got to do the medium through XL or double X or whatever it is. So
I always wondered how that worked.
yeah,
I never knew that.
there's guys that do it, and it's like a certain amount of measurements lengthwise and widthwise and armhole. And
Wow.
That totally makes sense, because sometimes when we get cut and sew, the sizes are like, it might fit him well, but my body type it does, or vice versa. And that makes sense, because I'm sure that's a coveted position. If you got the right grader, he knows how to scale things. If not, you get this weird t-shirt where it doesn't fit right, it's so interesting, because this applies to any brand, especially in cannabis. Now that cannabis is trying to get into the fashion market, or,
Well,
products.
it's cool. Yeah. Seeing people break, and we'll get to that, but just seeing some brands break into Zumiez and shit like that is sick. I mean, it's big for cannabis.
Before we
never
get past
thought we'd see
shoes,
that.
what was the biggest lesson you learned designing shoes? Something you could pass on?
Biggest lesson you learned at Vans. Because, man, honestly, like looking back on your journey, that's all the experience that anybody would hope to have going into having their own brand.
I think working at Vans really taught me like structure. Like I had to learn a corporate structure, working 9 to 5 and working with people and how to present to executives. And I think like one of the lessons that I learned is when you work with people that are top dogs, like real high up, rich people, you got to make everything their idea. You got to make them think they were the one that came up with it, even if it was you, and convince them, yeah, you know what? That was a dope idea. I'm so glad you asked me to do this and execute it for you. And that's how you move up in a company like that.
And it's fucking insane.
It is
That's a
insane,
gem,
but
though.
Very aware of
yeah.
you to know that, though, and just be like, okay, let me just play the game then.
Right.
That's what makes corporate world exhausting for some people, is like they just don't want to play that game.
Right. But I think that it helped me to learn that structure, because I still, to this day, I work for myself now out of my home studio. I work pretty much a 9-to-5 schedule, and I make sure that I take a lunch, and that structure kind of keeps you sane, and being able to clock in and be like, this is my work time. Okay, now I'm going to clock out and I'm going to do something else, and I'm not going to be tapped into work anymore. It resets your brain. You have that time when you're working and when you're not. And I need that.
Avoid burnout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's it like seeing a shoe you designed in the wild?
I've had so many. I remember the first couple of times it was insane, but I couldn't take pictures and post them because it's the whole team that created it. We all did that. It's not just me. The company did it, and it's us as a group. We did that. So I would promote stuff, but I wouldn't say, I designed this shoe. This is mine. But in reality, I did. I did a crazy Metallica collab when I was at Vans. I did a bunch of stuff with Nylon Magazine, did these like custom animal print skate highs that went viral. And I actually did a slip-on that had a skeleton foot on the top of it in like 2013. Yeah, I've seen that come back a couple times since then. Yeah.
And when
That's
you're designing this, what are you designing it on a computer? Or are you sketching it and then transfer? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, both. Mostly everything on Illustrator, a little bit of Photoshop, a little bit of hand drawn and Wacom.
Well, so you're versed in all of them.
Yeah, I think I mostly use Illustrator. Yeah.
And
That's
so
sick.
Going from Vans now into designing something completely different.
Yeah. I mean, after that was the Monroe thing, I think I learned a lot about creating a product from start to finish. And like I said, I was running around to the grader and then to the dye house and then to the screen printer. And so I learned how all those things worked. And I was in there in the print shop, like learning how they separated graphics. And so from then on, I started doing some graphics for people, for band merch and
for Tory Lanez, his first mixtape.
Yeah, a bunch of random
free
shit.
Tory, man.
I love to hear that because somewhere in that time frame, we had started. Cody has a passion for PackGods, aka has a passion for clothing as well. And we started a brand called Flagrance, and that's when I first started following you. Was
That's
back
crazy.
then. Because I remember
he mentioned that, like he knew of you guys way long, and I'm like, he's like, you don't remember? I'm like,
because I was running the Instagram, and I was like, if I dive into passion, so if he's like, if I find, oh, this is something I enjoy and creative, I'll jump right in. So I was like following all the people, and he's taking us to meetings where we're learning from Kill Spencer and Nikki Diamonds and all these guys. And so, yeah, I was following you back then.
Yeah, I was still doing some modeling stuff, but that's when I was merging modeling with streetwear, and I started working with some cooler brands, and I got on Hypebeast with this Nug pillow. It was like a printed Nug pillow, and that thing got so many hate comments on it. Like
New Era at that time?
I think that was right before or like right around that time that I went to New Era.
What are some of the projects?
so you left Monroe and then went to New Era?
Yeah.
Okay.
At Monroe, what are some of the projects
crazy.
you're doing?
So the chick, she dated Adam Levine. And so he had like a custom V-neck that was fit to his body.
He was rocking those V-necks then, bro.
Oh yeah.
He made that
Levine
shit
been
popular.
doing it, man.
That's gangster.
He's still
a
doing
designer, and you're getting
he's
shirts
still doing
designed
it,
for
exactly.
you.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's still doing it.
She was working with a lot of celebrities in LA, and yeah, I learned a lot from them actually. They're a very grassroots, small team, but they were actually popping. Not a lot of people know about that brand because it's not like a hype brand or streetwear brand, but they're doing it.
That's why I ask. Yeah, we were at Agenda watching everybody like, wow, look what they're doing. they're actually doing business. We're just making shirts, you know, and it felt like that's what we got to get to. You work at Monroe for how long? And then how do you jump from there to then New Era? Because you go from shoes to clothes.
Yeah,
big
because
companies.
I moved from LA back to OC. And then when I got the job at Monroe, I was driving from OC to LA. So I drove from LA to OC, commuted that way, and then I commuted the other direction after I moved. So I was just like, I can't do this anymore, you know? So I stayed in OC, and then I tried to find a job in OC. And that's when I landed at New Era. As an actual designer, I was an accessories designer, and then I stayed there for 6 years. I worked my way up. I ran the global accessories department there.
What was it like working with that? I mean, that's a massive company.
Yeah, big company. Still private, but yeah. I was going all over the world. I was visiting factories in Vietnam. I was being sent to their offices in New York. I was going to MLB stadiums to work with different teams. I was doing a bunch of shit, like,
Wow.
and making good money. I was actually really happy, like, working for a company like that. I probably would have just kept doing that and went to bigger and bigger companies and just worked my way up and been really happy.
If we didn't meet, yeah.
Yeah, if we didn't meet.
And was it because it was such varied work? It was just always exciting, or what about it? Where you were like, this is happiness for a creator?
I mean, I do see my creating as my job. Like, although I do love my job, that's not what I do when I clock out of work. Like, I separate myself from it. So it's my job, and I feel like I'm hella good at it, but I don't clock out and
But
draw
also
my free time.
it was somebody else's dream that you were helping build too, right?
Yeah, but I didn't really see it like that.
Yeah.
I just saw it as, this is what I do for work, and I'm good at my job. And I could work my way up higher, and I could increase my salary, and I'll just keep doing that. I probably would have went to Nike or something.
Well, a New Era transcends. I mean, if you're trying to make a hat, your first go-to, that doesn't matter if you're a rap group, if you're a baseball team, if you're in Australia trying to do, New Era.
Yeah. I did hats with Tyler, the Creator. I did Kid Cudi. I did Rock Nation.
Oh, that's
I did
sick.
a bunch of really cool projects there, and worked with even more streetwear brands, even more celebrities. Yeah, it was really fun.
And you're learning minimums. You're learning
All of that, all the ins and outs. Yeah.
Meanwhile, this is like right around the time when we met. I didn't know none of that shit, bro.
So you're still at New Era and you guys meet.
I was still at New Era when I got the gig to do the Karmaloop campaign and met him.
Bruh, I was struggling. I was in the restaurant, man. I was down bad, trying to press the restart button.
She's like, I was just with the Yankees designing their new hat.
Fucking A. And I was like,
Yeah.
and you're the baddie. Like, what's good? I got to lock this thing in quick.
Yep.
I think I hit her that night. Maybe the next.
Try to play
All
cool.
those rules go away, bro. To wait a minute to text or whatever. When you find the baddie that's like got her shit together and you're on the run, you're like, oh yeah, I gotta lock this
The
girl down.
first time that he asked me out, it was on Twitter, and he was like, yo, this Friday, let's catch dinner or something. And I had plans. I had a date with another guy planned. And I was like, you know what? I can't. I got plans. And he's like, it's all good. Like, we could chill whenever. It's not a big deal. And the fact that he said that, and I knew that if I canceled on the other guy, the other dude would have been like, oh man, what the fuck? You know, like, we had this plan. I was going to take you. But he was so cool about it that I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And I canceled the other one.
Lessons.
That's dope. That's
Right,
dope.
that I
It was
had
the
was the
confidence,
mouthpiece. That's
yeah.
all I really had. So I put that shit to work for real.
Hell yeah.
I like that. World's exploding. No big deal, man. Hey.
And being at New Era and having a good paying job and all that stuff going on, what made you want to go out and book a modeling gig?
I was just doing that for fun, like for Instagram. It was in the very early days of being an influencer. And I was on the pleasures page. I was on the antisocial page. I was getting posted by all these brands, and that was like a cool, fun thing for me to do on the side. And sometimes I made a little extra money, and sometimes I just did it for fun.
How did the hype beast thing come about with the Nug pillow? Because like you said, that went viral. Was that just, hey, let me shoot a photo of you with this, or how?
Yes, it was just a random gig, like a reach out on Instagram. Can you model for this? And I was like, yeah. Sure. I didn't know it was going to be on Hypebeast. It was just for the brand.
Yeah.
And you start to get recognized, I'm guessing, at this point when you're out and about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I looked different from everyone else that was at the agendas and everything. So I was already, people would see me and just be like, who is this young girl? I was in the mix, but no one else looked like me in there.
Then we linked up. I was on my model show too, so we were walking agenda together, and that when we first linked, that's all we were really trying to do. That's all I was trying to do. She had a job, bro. She was killing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm gonna leverage this shit to get. Cause I'm not trying to go back to the restaurant. I'm trying to be me and get paid. So I'm trying to book these model gigs in the aisles at Agenda. I'm like, look, we got clout together, and we did dope. We did Mishka. We did the Hundreds. We did Budweiser. We did Jarritos. We did so many fucking brands. I mean, countless no-name brands, and we ended up turning that into like a little business, like a casting agency for gigs that we didn't want to pull up on.
I guess now it'd be like an influencer agency.
Yeah.
Like we would book people to create content for brands.
And she
Wow.
she was like, yo, because I lived in LA, and she was like, yo, fuck this apartment, like move in with me in OC. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm gonna leave the restaurant, so I don't have no income. And she was like, just find your passion. And I was like, this is the one, bro.
I'm about to say, man, we need some cousins. We need some help. This is amazing. I love this.
It's like, what the fuck? This is just dropped on me. So I'm like, yeah, for real. And then, it put a lot of pressure on me because I was in the house. I was on my gym shit, trying to do my model shit. But like, she would come home and be like,
what'd you do today?
What's up? Do you fucking book a gig or what, motherfucker? Because you're just in the house, And that was like very like shot at my ego or my manhood. I was like, man, I'm better than this. Like, I can put some shit back together. I don't need to go back to trapping. Like I can do this shit. I could do real life.
But I was also like, come out to Coachella. I'm working Coachella.
Oh, I mean, it was
come
crazy,
out
bro.
to Hong Kong.
Because she would put her tickets on the New Era card, and then she would just be like, okay, I'm gonna buy your ticket with my own money. So she would fly me out to Hong Kong for my birthday. We go to Japan. Like, bro, for me,
damn,
just a 180, bro. I went from one style of life to another, and I was like, she's in fashion. Like, this is it, bro. I need to figure this out. And we did it. Yeah. So we were working and doing that shit. But then one of those model gigs, we did this company, Rebel 8, from the Bay Area. I shout out to Josh and Giant. I
used to rock that hat, the Big 8. Yes, with something in the middle of the big top. Yeah.
Yeah. We pitched him on this. I was a big marketing guy. So like I pitched him on this thing. There was this thing called Flash Mob or what? Flask Mob.
Yeah.
Flask Mob. It was like creator meetup. People who took photos, models, if you had like a cool car, if you knew how to blow a fire, all these creators would come and get together and like make these images.
Like right here up the street.
Yeah, like right fucking here where we're at. Yeah, downtown LA.
Damn.
And so I was like, yo, no one's like really utilizing this shit. I said, yo, slide me a pack and like I'll get a few models together. We'll wear the gear and we'll go down to this thing, jump in all these photos. I'll hand the card out, collect all the photos, and that will be the lookbook. Cost $0, bro. And he was like, yeah, cool, do it, So we went out, we did it, and just so happens it was like the biggest turnout of Flash Mob. SWAT came, helicopter came, news came, and we were on the news, repping the brand. And I text him the link to the news article. I give him all the pictures, and he's like, "You got to work for me, bro." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool. Marketing." And he's like, "Sales." I was like, "Okay, yeah, I got a background in sales. I could do sales." And like, no one's coming to knock on the door when you got a trunk full of t-shirts.
Hell
like,
no.
I'm good with this. That was basically off the strength of her relationship too, because before me, she was in a relationship with one of Josh's homies, and that was in a band. Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah,
It's fine. People know that part of my story. So it was the singer of Transplants, Rob.
Yep.
So I would go to Blink practices and get on the tour bus and go to shows. And that was like my pre-New Era, I think, or maybe very early New Era days.
And you're hanging out with a lot of other designers and people in the business with streetwear at this time, huh?
Yeah, but it was like all these dudes. I mean, it was a double-edged sword for me because I felt like I didn't really fit in with all these cool guys, but at the same time, there was no one like me. So they wanted to know who I was, I guess. Yeah. But my first couple jobs, they didn't call me by my name. They just, "Hey, intern, come here." Yeah.
And so New Era and now Rebel 8.
yeah.
Two epic brands. I mean, just super cool. Where does it go?
Yeah, what was it like diving into sales?
It was hard, bro. And I didn't know shit. I didn't know what a tech pack was. I didn't know none of that shit, bro. So they put me on this computer. That's not my forte. And they were like, "Yeah, you gotta collect money," because I was going off the back of this other dude's pre-book. So like, I learned what a pre-book was. I learned how to cut deliveries. I learned how to take somebody's money and make a payment online and do all the shit. And it was a real eye opener. But like, my creativeness inside of me was like, okay, I'm in here. Like, I got some clout. You know, people know me on the internet and shit because we're still like doing our model shit. And so I was like, I'm going to pitch this guy fucking ideas and I'm going to see if I can get some collection shit done. And I pulled Mandee over there. Mandee started doing some of the women's wear designs at Rebel 8. And while she, on top of whatever she's doing at New Era, which is like full fucking backpack development and just the most insane shit that you can think of. But I think like from working for all those brands, modeling and shit, and then working with like Rebel 8 was like a very like DIY PMA. That's their shit, bro. So like really grassroots. And that was my approach with that marketing shit too. I think that's why me and him really connected. But like, it was really grassroots. Like everyone there wore multiple hats and did multiple things. It was that type of lifestyle compared to what she was like one person in this big ass fucking chain link, you know? So, a lot of people like just her corporate shit, my grassroots shit, and then seeing all the behind the scenes when you work for a brand as a model, and some have a big budget with big production and some are just like iPhone photo. Let's get it cracking. You know, you see every version of everything, and people, when you get I feel like after a while, after we started really getting recognized, it was like, when are you guys going to do your shit?
Somewhere in between that time, me and Dom started Chonies.
Yeah,
that's when I already had met you.
Yeah.
So I was doing that on top of my job also.
What was it called?
What was the first
It was
brand?
called Chonies. So that was my first brand. It was a underwear, loungewear brand.
That was huge.
Yeah, that was like right after the Huff sock. It was basically inspired by, okay, no one was really doing cool socks until that point, and there wasn't really an underwear brand that was cool. So I had this kind of streetwear-ish underwear
we took
brand.
the Huff sock and put it on underwear. It was like
Basically.
it was like they had the weed leaf sock, which was brought their business back to life, and we were like, dude, let's do this for women. Like, this is a no-brainer. We can utilize that print and that trend and complement, ride the wave, however you want to call it. But like that times every other trend that was popping
Yeah,
up.
and then
I think there were a lot of like spoofs and
we
shit
got
on
chonies
that brand.
into Zumiez, and then Dom introduced me to this guy Chris and was like, he's from the UK. He's gonna get chonies into the European market. And I'm like, okay, cool. This sounds like a great plan. I'm down. He said, I can get you a PO from ASOS. So he goes and gets the order. It was like a almost $30,000 order from ASOS. And I was like, this is sick. He's like, we're going to produce everything in Turkey. So I borrowed the money from my dad to get the shit like manufactured, which was probably half that. So like 15 grand almost. And he sends me samples. The first one that I opened had like a worm in it. It was like a bug inside the underwear. And I was like, this is so gross. Like that should have been my first red flag that something was wrong. And then he's like, don't worry, we got it all. I'll send you revised samples. They're going to be clean. Here's the packaging. It all like eventually kind of came together. He ships the order and then he's supposed to cut me back my check, almost 30 grand. And he ghosts, just completely off the face of the planet, ghosts. So we try and track him down through his like business partner. And the guy's like, finally, after a few weeks of trying to get someone to respond, he's like, dude, he's not doing well. He went into the hospital. He tried to kill himself. Like, it's bad. Like, he, you know, and we were like,
Which is hard to tell because it's like,
how do you know if that's true
It's like
or
at that
not?
point, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Even though I do, it's like, you know,
You're like, I hope he's good, but now what am I
But
supposed to
where's
do?
the
Like,
money?
yeah,
You know?
and I have what am I doing now? Yeah. So what? So and when you get this, is the quality there? Like, what are you seeing? Like, what's the move?
It was good enough, and the product was on their website on models. Like it went all the way through to the end, but I never got paid off of it. And I never was able to get in touch with the guy. And just like last year, I seen an article that he got wrapped up in the UK and he had swindled over 4 million pounds from like over 50
Scammer.
different
It was
clients.
just some scammer shit, bro.
Just straight up
It was
scam.
tough because it was our first brand, and it got beat to shit. It could have been something real fucking beautiful. And we had partners and there was equity issues and shit, but it's like, it was a great way to learn, you know?
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately that we just shit on that brand, but like, it was a great first learning experience, and thank God that wasn't broken promises. you know?
Yeah.
And now
I
you
learned
know
that
what
lesson.
not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are some of the most valuable lessons,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
So that all that sold, and you knew obviously we can't continue with this. What are we gonna do? Or because the chonies was like even before PSL and some of these like other cool
There's a few big ones now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Ethica.
but yeah, we were
Ethica. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
we were, I mean, right around that time.
But you know your ideas are hidden, and that's the key, right? That
Yeah.
you're
It
making
was-
moves before it's hype.
It was working.
Mhm.
You know, we got it into retail. People were buying it. People were wearing it. I had it on influencers. Like I feel like it would have been
We
big.
took that hit and everybody butted heads, and like,
Yeah.
it
was just bad from there.
fizzled out. But like that kind of Dom was like, he just is a knowledgeable guy, bro. And if you're around knowledgeable people and you're listening, like, you hear things. And I think you came home and was like, there's an opportunity at Zumi.
Yeah.
What was the number one thing you would have done different for anyone that wanted to maybe start a brand and they have a homie who's like, I got this idea? Like, what would you do done different?
I mean, I shouldn't have trusted that guy in the first place.
But you
I
don't
should've-
know, bro. It's
Well,
like
you
Nothing you
can
can do.
check.
You don't
Nothing you
know
can
on
do.
the other
You
side
can,
of that.
yeah.
You can go
I
get
mean,
a contract and all that shit.
Regardless,
If someone decides to
yeah.
fuck you, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And
People
I was
don't
a
think-
victim of that.
Yeah.
So I don't blame myself,
It's-
but like you can check through word of mouth. You can ask around. Like I didn't know who this guy was. And if I did it again, I would, go through my network of
Yeah,
people
due
and be
diligence.
like, do you know
Correct.
somebody that can do business in the UK? I'm looking for someone.
People
Yeah.
say like a general rule of thumb, you need to know someone for at least a year before you partner with them.
To partner with them, yeah.
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 Just to really
do business
see
with
like
them?
red
I
flag.
mean-
You'll see enough red flags by then. Over a year, few months they can hide it. A year you'll probably get enough signs.
To do business, like, he was fucking with a lot of big companies. Some companies can take a hit like that. We were just
Yeah,
two
you'll
people
never hear
in a
about it.
fucking apartment, bro. Like that hit was fucking crucial to the entire operation.
How'd you come up
Plus,
with the
me
name?
and Mandy went to war, button heads
Yeah.
and stressing.
Oh,
and
it's
shit.
stress right off the rip.
Yeah.
It's like Spanish slang for underwear. It literally means underwear. Yeah.
Great name. Rolls off the tongue. It's easy to
It's
remember.
a good name. Yeah.
Yeah. And so where does it go from there, you two?
So one night I don't know where you were at, but you were like, I was chilling with Dom, and Zumiez is looking for new brands.
Mhm.
And I had already talked to Zumiez buyers because I was working at Rebel 8, and the things there were just trending downwards, and like you said, like a lot of lessons, like what not to do and shit. I learned so much from Josh, and I think at some point we were kind of like, I had a lot of ideas and shit, and it was his brand and he wanted to do his shit. And so he was like, if you want to take your ideas and if you want to try selling other brands, and it's like, you have my blessing. So I was already kind of splitting off in that direction, and we were doing the modeling shit, and people were like, yo, you guys are the dynamic duo. Your guys' face is fucking everywhere. Like, we cannot just scroll the internet and not fucking see you guys. So like, when are you guys going to be doing your own thing? So yeah, like she
Then
came
we're
home.
at
She was
Complex
like,
Con.
yeah, she was like, there's an opportunity at Zumiez. I knew the buyers, but I found out that there was going to be a sponsored wall at Complex Con by this dude who owned this company called No Bad Days. There's a bunch of artists painting on the wall at Complex Con, and the Zumiez guys were going to be there. So I pulled up to Complex Con. I talked to the dude who had the sponsorship, and he was like, yeah, that's bro right there. I slid over there. I introduced myself, and I was like, yo, I got a brand. It's a streetwear brand, just like all this shit here. That's super fucking sick, super hype. It feels like that, but it's priced at an affordable price to go into mall doors. It's not like the elite streetwear shit that's here. That's like kind of out of reach, and that's why it's cool. We have something that feels like that, but costs lower. And he was like, "Oh, I would love to see it. Why don't you guys come up to Seattle and present it?" I'm like, okay, word. Leave Long Beach, go back to OC, tell Mandy, like, yo, I talked to him. Like, I got this opportunity. We got to create a brand because we didn't have a brand. And she was like,
Going next week.
I love this.
she was like, fuck no.
I was like, nah.
She was
I'm
like,
not-
fuck no.
Because you had a long,
She had
you
a
knew what
job,
the stakes
bro,
were.
yeah.
Or
I
what?
had a big job and I had just like hit rock bottom
Got
from my
fucked, yeah.
other brand. I was just like, I'm off that for now.
The shoes. I forgot about that. We had a shoe thing cracking where Mandy made this one custom Vans. It was a Van shoe with a rose patch sewn onto it. And she put it up on an Etsy shop and sold like 3 pairs pre-sale. And she was like, yo, help me with these shoes. And I'm like, no. If you want to do that shit, you want a little Etsy business, you do that shit. I'm on some big money shit. I'm not fucking with no Etsy shop. Then she was like, okay. Like 2 weeks later, she was like, okay, I'm going to pay you $100 an hour. I've got 40 orders now, and I need you to put these fucking patches on these shoes.
Bossed up.
And I was like, you're speaking my language. Let's go. Let's go. Bro, that business, we made like $250K in 1 year on that motherfucker. Like just buying shoes at retail, attaching the patch and marking it up triple.
Roses, right?
Yeah.
You want to hear something real trippy?
Yeah.
I have a pair at my house.
No
Yeah.
way.
I swear to God.
I love that.
Swear
This
to
guy's
God.
big into roses.
And I'm big on Etsy because I'm a creative. So I'm always just looking through what people are making, lighter cases, leather things. I bought fabric
I wish
off
you
of
brought them
Etsy.
to get
That's
signed.
I didn't know you guys.
You didn't
I wonder
know.
if I could literally look
That's
through my
crazy.
purchases. I
Jason
swear to God.
stitch those motherfuckers,
I know,
dude.
right?
Probably at midnight. We always used to
You
argue.
bring them up
she-
here and he'll sign them.
I literally have a pair because I was like, oh, this is perfect for the brand.
Did you ever wear them?
I think maybe once, but I have them on my, so, I'm like, this will work. I do wear OVO 40. I'll wear shit sometimes that I think is like out there. And then I'm like, God, I look crazy. But it's just like, I don't know how to put it all together. Right. And I'm like eclectic, right? I'll wear like, I got this with the hoodie and the thing and but I love them and they're still on they're on my stand. I could bring them
One
in.
time we got an order and the name was Dylan Francis and it was in LA and I was like, do you think this might be like the guy? And he was like, this was a little later. He's like, put some Broken Promises tees in the box when
Yeah.
you send it. And so I did. And it popped up on his Instagram. He was wearing the tee like the
Yeah,
following
see.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he
Dang.
bought my
Wow.
shit off there
That's
too.
so
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, so
that was already
I had
kinda
already
popping.
shut down her idea, bro. So
Yeah.
I felt like that she was shitting back on me when I brought an idea.
Yeah.
And
When
she
he was like, let's
nah.
make a brand, I was like, no. When I asked you for help with my idea, you didn't want to do it. I
Yeah.
had to force you to do it. I'm not just going to help you create a brand overnight. And
But I was
somehow,
booming. Like the sneaker money was better than the Rebel 8 money. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm just about to be out of here. I was like really checked out. And it was
somehow you convinced me
yeah.
and we put it together in like almost overnight, I would say, maybe a couple nights. The
Name,
whole entire
logo.
the name, the logo, everything. I created the Wave logo.
Yeah, well, she was really on the name also. She came up with the name. My whole thing about the brand Broken Promises was coming from sales and everything. I was like, I want to make sure that we don't just like hit this one trend and then fade away. Like I want my shit to last forever, ideally. And so if we base it on emotions, as long as we tie our apparel and our brand concepts back to an emotion, it's on brand. So we can do karate and we can do fucking Western and we can do robots. And as long as we tie it back to an emotion,
It's open-ended.
it's Broken Promises. So we can be like ebb and flow when trends come and go too, So she really landed on the name and from that kind of
Name strong.
the name is
Name
fire,
strong.
bro.
But when we took that first line sheet over there, Zumiez was just like,
I was hyped.
I'm
I
going
was
to
in there
admit
rapping
it
my
wasn't,
ass off,
when I
bro.
look back, I'm like, it was trash. Like it wasn't
The
very
designs
good.
were bad.
Yeah.
But the concept was
The
there.
concept was there.
The
We showed
energy
it to
was there.
them. They're like, you know what? I think maybe we can find like a couple teas in here, but like we believe in you too.
Yeah.
We believe in your
That's
story.
It's compliment. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
sick.
And so we're going to buy a couple things and see how it does because we believe in you.
And like that was enough. That
Yeah.
was enough for
Yeah.
me to
It
be
was
like,
probably like
I'm going
2
back.
graphics.
I'm on this motherfucker.
We're going to double down. Yeah.
And one of the first ones was the thornless. It's a purple rose in the middle. It said broken. And
We just
we
tap back
tapped
into our network.
everyone that we knew, all the models and influencers and everyone that we knew were
All
just
the
like,
YouTubers.
hey,
like
can we send you a couple teas.
Yep. Because
And that's like the beginning of influencer marketing,
fucking A.
which is time. I mean, that timing is impeccable.
Fucking A. There was nothing even, there was no app. There was none of that shit, bro. We were running we had ran a little model agency too when we were modeling, and we were like doing those favor trades with brands and getting a pack of clothes and building content and giving it back. And like, dude, going back to that, the network was fucking gold.
Yeah.
We just never knew how to tap it, bro.
But we also had photographers.
Yeah, we had.
So we could shoot a lookbook
on the strength.
Yeah.
On the strength, which was fucking beautiful, bro. Because it was like we did them a solid. I put a no-name photographer on 100 shoot. Or I shot somebody's no-name brand with Estevan. Like it was that's the type of like shit we were doing. So the love was just, I mean, all around us.
When you're
Everybody
talking the
wanted to fuck
language
with us. Yeah.
You know the minimums, you know production, you know screens, you know how many colors and what each color separation's going to cost. And if you try to reuse screens, you can save a little money, or how's that work?
And the two of us combined basically knew all of the elements of how to run a brand, because he was doing, sales and marketing, and I was doing design and production. And so that's how the two of us have been able to run the entire brand, just us. We don't have no crew, no employees, no nothing. It's just me and him.
Yeah, we never really hired employees or anything. I'm also very not professional, so having an employee is going to be difficult.
And
for
you know
me
what's difficult? You guys work together and live together.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's really cool because she's the best.
Talk about
He
that.
says
Talk
that
about
now.
that though. Like,
He
my
says
best
that
friend
now, but
and
then
my
when we get into it,
business
he's like,
partner.
I fucking hate you.
Yeah, sometimes.
I'm taking it all back.
we
lightly.
go at it
It's always
once in a
lighthearted when I
while.
say that.
But considering how much time we spend together, we don't really argue that much. Like once in a blue moon.
what's the key to having an ongoing relationship inside and outside of work? Like, how does it go back to that schedule kind of?
I think it's just having
does.
all the same end goals
always on.
is the most important thing. Like a lot of people, whether they work separate jobs or together, they end up competing against each other, and you don't want all of the same things. And that's what causes a rift in your relationship. We've always had the same end goals from the beginning, like even before the brand.
Facts to that, because when we worked two separate jobs, we used to butt heads. We really did.
So it actually made it better.
Yeah.
Relationship better.
We were always
More on the same page.
We're always on the same page.
Yeah. And we actually wrote them down. Like in the beginning, we would get out a piece of paper and we would just start writing like all the things that we want. Like we want celebrities wearing the brand. We want this, we want that. We want to go to London and see people wearing it, and we'd write it all down and just like keep these slips of paper in a box that was closed, and
That
we
you
couldn't
know it's
see
there.
it.
Fire.
That you know it's there.
You know it's
Yeah,
there. but
every time you look
yeah.
at that box, you're
That's a good
referencing
idea.
your goals and shit. They say put it behind a painting that you always look at, or put it in a box where you can visually see it. But man, so many of those things have come to fruition, and since then we've made many lists and done the same thing.
When you have ideas, what do you do with them? Do you write them down in a journal? Do you have like a lookbook? where
I
you
got like a crazy notes app like filled up with just random ideas on my phone. But that's usually where I put them until later. But when we go to design catalogs, like we lock in, like it's almost like being in the studio and locking in and making an album. Like we don't do anything else. We're just in there and we crank it all the way to the end.
Yeah, it is kind of like making an album. I mean, if you think about that, when they're touring or whatever, like everyone's just getting inspiration, bro. They're partying, they're having fun, like just really just getting inspired and shit. And that's really like, I think how our process is when we're not in the studio locked in, like we're out, bro. We're at festivals. I'm at fucking
You guys are
Yard
active.
I'm at Yard House looking at what these young kids are wearing who are walking in. I mean, we're always on. Like we're just, but I enjoy that shit. Like I'm super passionate about that shit. Going and looking at merch is exciting to me because I want to see what people are on.
Even just going shopping.
Facts.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh shit, look at it. Like we used to do that all the time. We'd be like, see what they're doing with this shit. Like even hang tags, you're like, look what they do with
Yes, bro.
It really like sucks you in.
Yeah.
Yes. And you really take all that shit for granted until you're like up on it, you know?
Yeah.
And
Find
once you're up
inspiration.
on
You don't
it-
care about it.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
that's sick. And you guys are fucking everywhere. Anytime we go like all these events and stuff, you're there, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy because like you're not necessarily like a cannabis brand or a weed company, but
Sure.
you have your bro there. You guys are like a pack, and like you just show up, and it's just surprising to me because I'm like, some of these spots, I'm like, damn, you know, you wouldn't expect to see, you know, people there kicking it that aren't, you know.
I mean, the community has like embraced us in a major way. Like Black Friday clearly is a big shopping day, but like 420, we mirror Black Friday with
Wow.
on our drops. Like cannabis community has shown us so much fucking
Some
love,
emotional
bro.
motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, they really
Hey,
are.
man, for
Yeah.
real,
Deep
for
down.
real.
That may be true too, but I mean, like,
It is.
That's why I love it because, like, my target audience, my target customer demographic is anyone that has emotions. You know, that's who I'm speaking to.
Fucking everybody,
Yeah.
the whole world.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is dope. Have you guys been like traveling around, like you say, London or somewhere, and like got to connect with people where it was just like,
yeah,
you know,
right now, this year we implemented a Zumiez tour, and so
Sick.
we've been going. You know, fast forward on the brand a little bit, but like. We had shirts go viral. We got knocked off. We've done collaborations with Mattel. We have our own Hot Wheels.
That's crazy.
We've done many band collaborations and just
Tons of
you know,
celebs wearing it.
Yeah. Post Malone, Miley
Give us a lesson
Cyrus,
from collaboration.
MGK.
Little Peep,
Yeah.
Little Skies. I mean, bro,
Wiz
that was our
Khalifa.
first year that we launched. We got those plays. Like,
Yeah,
it was
a lot
crazy.
of them.
Wow.
I mean, we still get them.
Yeah, we still get them. Like recently, Doja.
Doja.
Yeah, like the brand is just. I'm telling you, man,
legs.
emotional connection, bro. Like,
It's sick.
even if you don't really fuck with the graphics are cool, but even if you don't fuck with the graphics, the message and like
That's
the
what I
human
fuck
connection
with.
there is like, if you see a shirt that says delete my number for real on the back, you're like, man,
Anybody's
I know
feeling
somebody.
that shit.
Like, I know somebody, you know? Yeah, for real.
That's dope though, because all the back of the shirt sayings, like those get me every time. You know.
That's the whole point, is to like build that emotional connection or spark a memory, you know, and help you express, I guess, too.
Going back to the collab thing, I think it's important to choose collaborations where you want to find or connect with a new audience, and you can kind of trade those audiences back and forth. I think where I would not be down is another brand that only has t-shirts and doesn't have a message or a product that's different from mine. It doesn't really benefit me in any way. And we try to keep it authentic. Like when we went to make our first skateboards, we did it with Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to do it with someone that
Classic.
could really make
Pioneers
good boards
of
and
skateboarding.
pioneers in
Those are
skate.
so sick too.
Instead of just for the first time dropping them on our own and making them on our own.
Which is possible. We could have done it like that.
Yeah.
But it's like not authentic.
It's less nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like when you gave me the credit on the site, like one of the first things I was like, yo, I got to get the skateboard for sure, 100%.
Fine.
Just because you keep that for years.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're like, I keep mine mint. And it's like, yo,
yeah.
Santa Cruz board.
It's in his
Who
house.
has one of those?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
fire.
Santa Cruz transcended just skateboarding. Yeah.
Big time.
Well, you start to knock these collabs down. Like, how are you getting these collabs? Like, what's the process of like, oh, this would be a cool company to collab with?
I think they've all been different, but I think majority of them, we get someone's email through like our industry connection.
It's not that difficult, bro. To be honest, when you were like, you had said something earlier about like, how do you get into Zumiez? Because like that's a big deal, bro. If you're really about business, make yourself a fucking LinkedIn page. Go on LinkedIn, type Zumiez buyer. That's
Damn.
it, bro. Shit ain't fucking hard. I don't want to hear anybody limiting themselves to be like, oh yeah, but like Zumiez is such a far distant play. Like, I mean, maybe that is knowledge. Maybe I am dropping a gem for people, but to me, that's common sense, bro. If you can't do that, like, they're going to ask you for a catalog. Do you even have a catalog put together? There's some steps, you know, but nothing that you can't solve with Google.
You're like, I got the meeting. You're like, I got the meeting, but yeah.
Shit, but I had a fucking cheat sheet right here.
Got Tyson in the corner.
I'm like, yeah, what do we need? We just bring a t-shirt up there to fucking pitch to him, right? We're good, right? She's like, nah, bro, we got to make a line sheet. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but let's
Damn.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, cheats with lines. Like, let's start with it.
I got
bust that out
binder
real quick.
I got binder paper.
So you start to do these collabs, and I mean, they're bigger and bigger, and they're with all different brands outside of clothing. Like, what are some of your favorites along those lines that you started to
We
hit?
do have an even bigger one dropping soon. I think it'll probably be out by the time this episode drops. Yeah.
I mean, I think Mattel was the biggest one. Like, just being able to tell my dad, like, I got a Hot Wheels in Walmart, like, that's something people understand the size and
There's a
strength
small thing
of
to that too. They put the toy right here as a playable character in their video game.
No
So
way.
you can mash the Broken Promises toy with the Broken Promises logo in the video
That's
game.
fucking crazy.
It's fire.
That's nuts.
Coming from my background, never
Yeah.
thought that shit would have happened ever, but I'm so proud.
How did the Mattel collab come about?
I think Zumiez
Zumiez alley-ooped it. Because
So-
Hot Wheels went to Zumiez and said, hey, do you guys want to buy some Hot Wheels shirts? And they're like,
They looked at all the offerings and they were like, this is not that good. Not what we sell here.
well, we don't just sell merch, I think is what they told them.
Yeah.
And then they said, if you do something with Broken Promises, we'll buy it.
They're like, Broken Promises is popping.
Yeah.
You know, just have them spin some shit up with your guys and we'll buy it. Yeah. And then
But
they
I've
sent us
also
over.
like gone to my friends and just been like, does anybody know who's the manager for Pierce the Veil? Like, can someone get me? And got it like that, you know, just texting.
Crazy.
And
we got a
just
killer
ask,
network.
yeah,
bro.
and just
fucking
asking
She-
until I
she
find
has
it.
some plugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah, you do. I mean, because in that lineage or in your journey, you're in places where they're the epicenter of that time and that place, new era.
No
I can't
better
imagine-
time for streetwear.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
and then
even
hats.
Yeah, even
that's
beyond
everyone.
that, like one of the photographers from back in the day who used to be a scrub is now at this big ass brand doing photography. It's like, oh, bro,
That's why you always got to be cool
it's
with
cracking.
everybody too.
Hell
Right.
yeah, never
and
burn
keep
a
those
bridge.
relationships.
Never
He's
burn
a
a
lot
bridge.
better at that than I am because I'll just like not talk to someone for hella long and kind of forget. And he'll go back and make sure. Doesn't matter who it is.
Bro,
He'll
even if
text
they
and just
burn me, I still keep a bridge, bro.
Yeah. You are a good communicator though. You even hit me randomly and I've been like, oh, what's up, bro? Like, then I'm thinking like, how am I even on his mind right now? You know, but just
he's
like
so good at that.
Yeah, that's being
one of
a
his best
social.
skills. Yeah.
extrovert, you know,
We're
like
friends,
a social
bro.
person. No, I know, but I'm just like, it's just like, I'm like, oh, what's up, dude? Like, you know, but I'm like,
we're not
damn,
used to it.
I'm like that where it's like, I know a lot of people and I don't hit them up ever. And it's like, well, fuck.
I'm trying to tell you,
Then you
that's-
need something and you're
That's
like,
really
oh, fuck.
all I got, bro. I'm not super
I
talented.
mean, that's
You know what
a
I'm
big
saying?
talent though,
So-
because it's hard to do.
So I really be doing that.
Maintaining relationships is very hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I tell so many
Yes.
people, like, they're like, hey, bro, you got like a money making thing for me or something. I'm like, look in your phone, bro. I'm sure you got money in there. Start calling people that you haven't talked to. Like, go up in your phone book.
I'm gonna go make a LinkedIn, 100%. Yeah, I'm also
Bruh,
gonna get a box for
you
all
don't
my.
have one?
I have like notes and shit everywhere, like in different places.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get boxes and like start stacking them in there. That way I can access it and actually look through it. But
I had to change
that was
our
a big
flagrance LinkedIn to, I changed it to a BlackLeaf, right? Because it was, but yeah, that's how we were like, we need a producer for the show. We need this. We need a video. I'm on there. I'm looking up YouTube producers. I'm like Paramount Studio producers, but like it is such an exceptional place for real contacts. If you're in business, LinkedIn, you can get to the heads of business, CEOs. You can literally directly message. They might not have an Instagram. And if their Facebook is private, that's the way.
He's spitting facts.
Yeah.
He's spitting facts. I've talked to Authentic Brand Group, Scott Miller. He's like one of the top dudes on there. I just pinged him on LinkedIn to be like, hey, bro, my brand. And he's like, do you do 500 million? And I'm like, not yet, but yeah, I'm gonna see you, bro. And I've been chiming in like, Happy New Year, whatever. And there's a lot of real ones on there who hit back no matter who you are. So
way less spam on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And it's like, it's just that limiting mind, like that a lot of people have that are like, oh, like I can't DM this person. They won't respond or like,
But we've
fuck
done
you. What
that
do you got
too.
to lose, bro?
We've gotten our stuff placed on celebrities just from DMing people until they respond.
Hell yeah. Ruby Rose. Shout out Ruby Rose.
Well, let
She's
me
a shit.
Let me
Shout out
ask
Big
this.
Sean.
There's
Yeah,
a way
shout out
to
Big
reach
Sean.
out though, right? Because I get people that are like, what up?
Exactly. What do you want?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's good?
Yeah.
We're gonna go back and forth. I'm just gonna say what you said to me, like, what up?
Yeah.
But like, what's the proper way to reach out to someone?
You got to shoot
Put
that
your
shot.
whole pitch in there.
Yeah, you got to shoot that shot.
So it could be a big message. It just has to be properly written.
Yeah, if there's some gold in there,
You can get a lot into a paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, my go-to message is, hey, great to connect with you. I would love to share my brand with you. I think there's mutual beneficial opportunities. That's what I say.
I love
bro.
that.
That's my shit.
Let me send you something.
I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to, we both going to win. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I like that.
You guys are a good team. I can see that.
We're like a yin yang.
Yeah, we're the opposite.
She drinks cold coffee. I drink hot coffee.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it's
He
It's a
likes the
good
music
mix.
blasting in the office. I like silence. It was complete opposite. Yeah.
So when you design, you go silent.
If I write, I have to turn it
The
off.
design-
Anything that I'm writing,
yeah.
design, it depends. If we're both working on something, usually he has music on. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's probably a designer's worst like nightmare. But the way that we design is she is the brain and the hands, and I'm the eyes, and
the
I'm
mouth.
like, yeah, and the mouth. Fuck. But yeah, and like I'm over her shoulder, being like this. We should do it like this. Or if I get kind of spun out, then she kind of takes over until I can like kind of conceptualize another idea or something, and then we're back at it together. But
if I'm in there by myself and then he comes into the office, it's dead silent, and he'll be like, "The fuck you doing? Put some music on."
I'm
Why
like
is it so quiet in
screaming
here?
at the top of my lungs, "Let's go, baby! $1 million day! Let's get this money!" She's like, "Yeah, fuck." But she works a true 9 to 5. I might roll in at 11.
Do you guys have a separate space where you work, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
kinda.
built a studio on our property. Our house is in the front. It's a 7-bedroom house. We have a guest house behind that. And then behind the guest house is a 2-story creative space. And downstairs we have like our photo studio. And upstairs is our design loft where the computers are up against the railing. And I basically built that to mimic my experience at Vans. So I have my loft where I could look down and I could see the bottom story, like a mezzanine.
Dope.
Hell yeah.
It's fire as fuck.
Yeah.
And you got the pool table.
And you guys
with the
never
custom
wanted
wrap.
to have anyone, an assistant or nothing.
I mean, we have people come in all the time for various things, but we don't have a team because we want to be able to travel around and work from an
Anywhere,
Airbnb
yeah.
anywhere.
After
Yeah.
getting gamed up and working at brands and having our own brand and building a successful brand in retail, I've always been like, how do I leverage this to do bigger, better, more? And so we understood how to license the brand. And that's where we really have been trying to build our program out, as like internationally, to grow internationally. Sometimes that's not a vertical play. Sometimes it's trusting somebody that knows their territory, knows what blanks, what fits. a double XL here and a double XL in Asia are two different sizes, period. So like having somebody that knows what blanks are trending in their territories, what graphics work the best and everything, and entrusting your brand to somebody like that, it's the same with cannabis, you know, passing the baton and the SOPs and making sure the shit's tight. Like, I think that's some of the steps that we've been trying to build and build that brand, build our brand to be something that we can just travel around and check in on. And it doesn't have to expand a team that may hold us back. We can kind of pass the baton to these other companies and bring that shit onto our web. You know,
we used to ship every single order ourselves when we had the inventory in our garage. And then we grew out of that garage and moved to our current house and got a 3PL. So we have people that ship all of our orders, but they don't work for us, you know?
Yeah. Just outsource everything.
Yeah.
Do you guys go take trips to get inspired and work on collections and stuff?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, we're always trying to move around. Like I said, we have a Zumiez tour. We've been hitting all these states and all the stores at these states, and like we try to move around as much as possible. That's why we built the brand the way we did, so like we wouldn't be so like locked into a computer and shit. And the what we do for a living like definitely takes us places, and you can work mobile. So
You can do everything from your phone now.
yeah,
And like, shout out to Shopify. They
big time. We love you.
We love Shopify. Like, everyone has one thing that they nerd out on. I straight up nerd out on Shopify.
I'm about to be calling you guys for a
tons
bunch of
apps
advice
and-
after this episode. Like, it's like all the shit that I'm like, fuck, Shopify.
It's a beautiful thing when you wake up in the morning and you look at the Shopify and you made money when you were sleeping.
I remember I sent them
incredible.
a message in December 13th, 2019. We made our first million on Shopify, and I screenshotted it and I sent it to them on DM, and I was like, thanks guys. Like, look at this. And they're like, great job. They don't respond on there anymore, but at the time they did.
Josh and I was on Shopify,
That's sick.
so I don't know how proud of us.
Oh my
they
gosh,
were, but,
yeah.
you know,
Still though, great
Still, though.
platform for creators to be able to get your products out there.
It's
I
the
mean,
best.
Yeah,
and
if
not
you're-
have
if you're
to
thinking about building a store,
$20,000
that's the spot.
website, $10,000 website that you can't change anything on,
Yeah,
that you can't adjust, or you can't almost reimagine. Like, right? Like sometimes people like to redesign every drop, the background, this, that. It's so easy for
that's
creators.
the tough thing about having a custom website is the dude who built it is the only one who could tweak on it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like
And
a
I
custom car.
Made our
Fucking
whole
A.
website myself on Shopify, and every week we drop on Saturday, and every week we upload the products, we
So
redo
new
the
drops every
homepage.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
for
dope.
7 years.
Yeah.
Holy
Is there an importance to that, about that, the repetitiveness?
Yeah, because the customer now has such a short attention span. Everything
about
is
drops,
just,
yeah.
you see it
Collections
and
are
you
out.
scroll by it. So a season, 3 months from now, who's paying attention anymore? No one.
Yeah, man. It's like, yeah, exactly. If you drop a big collection, I mean, there's still brands that do it, but if you drop that big collection, like 2 weeks later, are people still talking about it?
Nope.
Nah, man.
We still design like that though. Like, we'll design our whole collection for spring,
That's the hack.
but then when we go to drop it, it's little by little by little, a couple
What's
things.
each drop consist of?
It's
Piece
always
wise.
different.
It's always different.
Yeah, it depends.
We've gone from 3 pieces to a 24, a dozen pieces, you know, accessories, denims, shirts. I mean, we've done everything.
We have cosmetics, we have skate.
The
It
brand
could
is
be
sick.
a collab.
It's a true 50-50 men, women. We sell makeup palettes, we sell skate decks. It's a true like lifestyle brand. We really tried to get away from a streetwear label. We tried to build it into something bigger, and like we want to, you know, we aspire to like do fucking a bed in a bag at Kohl's and like really get
That's
it, bro.
fire.
I mean, my long-term vision is to like, I don't know if you know the brand Goodfellow. It's a Target brand.
Yep.
I would love to do my own program at Target and make some cool shit, you know, for, you know, it's
Make
like,
it accessible
when-
for more of the masses.
yeah. And isn't that why he went to Gap? Like, isn't that why he tried to partner with Gap? That's the vision, bro. You know, there's a story about Jesse James. He took West Coast choppers to Walmart. It was the biggest Walmart order they've ever placed, and he upsold the current trending shirt, which was a Corona shirt. I think it was $9.99 at the time, and he sold his t-shirt in at like $19.99. It was $10 more, and it was like a fucking 100 million one PO, $100 million PO. Changed the game forever. Like, same, bro. Kudos to you. And the beautiful thing is, it's been done. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to do something that hasn't been done.
You got the social proof. Yeah. You believe you can do it. Then.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
With designing for different brands and collabs, like, what are some lessons learned? Like, anything that you would say specific, or just be yourself? Because there's a lot of people that don't want to interject their personal life into their brand, or are afraid to. They want it to be almost a facade.
I think we try to keep a little bit of divide, and I see where you're coming from with that. I mean, I don't really agree with someone being logged into their brand page and posting like what they had for lunch. Like, the brands for us is separate. We post all brand stuff on there, and then we have our own personal brands as well, you know?
Yeah. I've been singing that song forever. I don't want to like follow some of my favorite brands, like a Warren Lotus or somebody like that. That's like posting his like truly personal shit, you know, but some of those brands, it's like, that's just my preference. Some brands, they're built on the founder, and it's all about the person, you know, and it's all about what they do in life and shit. And that is the driving force behind it. There's a lot of streamers who, like, you know, they stream their life, and they got big fucking fans because of that. Like, there's a bunch of ways to get to it. And I think like we chose our path to get to it, you know?
No, but it's smart too, because you guys also have your personal pages, and they obviously know you guys are behind Broken Promises. And if they want to follow your personal pages, it is more personal stuff,
we
and
do
brand
more
pages,
than just
brand
the
stuff.
brand. I mean, we work with my brother and his brand.
Yeah,
we have another brand. It's called Open 9 to 5. It's like spoof business shirts. They all have the same phone number on there, so when you call that phone number, it signs you up. It's a data collection thing. But
what's the phone number?
I don't know the phone number.
4240925.
Oh, she knows it. Yeah. There we go.
That's cool that it's actually something. It's not like 555.
It's like that Mike Jones play. Mike Jones.
Exactly.
And I mean, to get into a little bit of that, Your Highness was one of the first weed brands that I saw go into Zumiez. Were there ones before that?
I mean,
cookies.
Yeah, I feel
Cookies,
like
huh?
Cookies. They
Did you guys lay that up for your brother and stuff with Zumiez?
Yeah, big time.
What about Alien
I mean,
Labs?
he's saying Zumiez. He's saying lay up the Zumiez relationship or the cookies thing.
The cookies thing.
No, for Alien Labs, did you lay up the Zumiez thing?
No, Ted. Well, I'm close with Ted, and I think, you know, if he wants to leverage my contacts or whatever, they were already having conversations with Zumiez before me and Ted ever linked up and became friends. I don't think maybe the time was right for them at that time, but I think when he met me and I was telling him like, now's better than never, bro. Like, let's go. I think that really motivated him to do his shit and get his shit in there. Yeah, for real.
Which is crazy. I mean, it's a big feat for, like you said, Your Highness, Alien Labs, obviously Cookies, but these are more like indie style, less bigger, you know, brands that are still like come up and grinding and, you know, didn't take the corporate route as much. So it's dope to see.
Cookies Clothing might do more business than Cookies Cannabis. I don't know. I don't know what the flip side is, but they're known for clothing, where Your Highness now is known for clothing.
Yeah, I mean, my bro, when he told his story, is like, you know, we reconnected. They had a brand, they had the name, but like we put that camo together for them. We brought that like more commercial. Let's treat it like a real fucking brand. You know, let's give it the identity. Let's give it the depth. You know,
What are the
really
keys to that? Like to create a real brand that can like outlive the founder.
So look,
You have to have IP.
yeah, you got to have IP. True, but
so it's got to be original. Like
but
it can't
doesn't
be
have
all
to
flips.
It doesn't have to be, because like antisocial, that's a fucking typeface. Props to them. I wish I could do that shit, you know? But what I love about brands and what I look for and I think is meaningful in brands is, depth, identity, like cool logo, right? But like what's beyond all that? Or is it just a cool logo? Is that what it is, you know? And if that is what it is, like, how do you market the brand? How do you expand on that? How are you going to corral your customer base and keep them there? You know, and what if that logo just doesn't trend anymore? You know, yeah, it's. I think it's really just trying to build out the identity, and that's really what we did with my bro when we linked up. It was like, Your Highness. It was a cool name, but they didn't. I think they had the concept behind it, but I think we really like brought it to life in the way of like, treat yourself like royalty. It's all about empowerment and self-worth and knowing your self-worth. That's what Your Highness is truly all about. And that living that lifestyle, it includes clothing, but it also includes cannabis as well. Knowing what makes you feel good, you know?
What's the key to creating real IP?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be original. It just has to be an identity. Like he said, antisocial. It's like, that's just a font at the end of the day. But if you see anything else written that same way, you identify it right away. You're like, that's a rip off antisocial.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's something that I don't think he could have trademarked, you know? So
right.
For real, like IP, I think true IP is something that's unique to you. Do you think?
Yeah.
And then what? Like get trademarks and do your due diligence to make sure it's yours?
Yes.
We have broken promises trademarked in like
broken promises
almost
code.
Every country.
Damn. Almost every country.
We're working on the major ones. Yeah.
Wow.
And you were able to do that. Is that because is the font custom as well? Or how do you go?
Well, we trademarked the words. So we have the word mark for all of those words. And then we have our logo, which is spelled out, and our Bite logo, which is the little snake logo, and a box logo that has promises with the strike through. Like all of that identity and IP. We can't trademark emotions on shirts. And I really wish we could, because there's been a lot of people who jumped on our wave.
But I think that really is the identity of the brand. And I think going forward, anyone that creates a new brand and they say, oh, this is all about emotions, people are going to think, oh, like broken promises, that is the identity.
That's the long-term vision, is like, to be a heritage brand that's based on emotions. It's like Champion is a heritage brand, Carhartt, these brands that are just iconic and be around. I want, just like Cookies, like did really well at making their name synonymous with weed. I want anything that's emotional on apparel, or even really anything that's emotional. It would be nice if someone was walking down a fucking car, with the aisle at Target with the cards, and they were like, damn, this is some broken promises type shit right here. That's the vibe. Yeah.
Where does it go from here? What's the plans for the future? And like, how far do you guys project out?
We're out over a year. So we're already done designing spring 25.
What are the keys to knowing what's popping ahead of time?
I was going to say, that's why I don't get mad when we get knocked. Because if someone knocks my shit,
they're a year behind. Yep.
That's
a hard mindset shift to make. Like, okay, this is cool now. What's going to be cool next year?
It is hard, and sometimes you nail it and sometimes you don't, you know?
Yeah.
I feel
it's
like
like you
we're
don't know.
pretty good
You're
by
just
now. We've done it so many times though that we can see kind of the evolution. At the end of the day, there is a cycle, you know, and when you start to see Ed Hardy and Affliction coming back, you can look back in time and you can say, what came after that? Was it Famous? You know, was it
Von
Monster
Dutch.
Energy
Yeah,
teas?
fucking
What was it? Tap Out? Like, what came after that?
Or
In
was
the whole
it Famous
cycle?
Stars and Straps
Yeah.
and fucking
yep.
Rebel 8 shit?
I mean, you can
know?
look at the timeline and figure it out. Yeah.
But the other thing I was going to say to that is like, sometimes you don't know what the trend is going to be. So you create your shit hoping that you start that fucking wave.
Yeah.
I've been on enough big corporate calls with companies who I want to work with where they're like, damn, bro, I'm so glad you reached out. We've had your shit on our inspiration wall and we've been looking at you guys forever.
Damn.
So many
And that's the power of
times.
just reaching out,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. Yeah.
initiating.
It's crazy because, you know, we're in this like bubble, you know? And so when you hear that perspective from outside of the bubble of like, dude, yeah, you're on our fucking mood boards. We've been looking at your shit for a long time. It's like, damn, I wish you guys would pay me for that. But you know, it's like,
Yeah.
but you know, it brings a lot of perspective to what you're doing. Yeah. Big.
I think our vision of success for the brand is just being able to go anywhere and see people wearing the brand. Like, I want to be able to go to Japan, hang out, and see someone walking by with my shirt on. That to me is success.
Yeah, I think for me, like success is knowing that my bro and his wife are good, my dad's good, my mom's good, her pops is good, and we're good. And just having that security, and regardless of like what amount of money or whatever that is. And yeah, being able to like have the freedom to move around, which we do have a lot of that freedom. So a lot of these like success things that have already accomplished. But yeah, I think the last one is wherever we go to see the brand, and we see the brand a lot, you know.
What's
We
a dream
really
collab?
do.
You got a dream collab?
We want to do a shoe
Yeah.
pretty
Like
badly.
Harley Davidson would be sick.
Harley's
Custom
definitely a
Harley.
bucket
That'd be
list.
fire.
Swing
Yeah.
our way.
But we also want to do something in grocery, like a cereal or an energy drink, or just something out of the box and get out of fashion. I mean, we'll always
Consumable
have,
is
yeah.
like the people that ran the program for the Yachty and the Travis Scott Reese's Puffs and
I was
the
about to
Cos
mention
Reese's
that.
Puffs. Like, how sick is that to like create hype in the grocery? Like, this was the closest that we got to that, which was like people going into Walmart to grab the toy. To, you know, we seen people when we were at Target that were like, "Hey, I just bought the toy. Can you sign it for me?" Like, that's so fly. That shit's so fly. Like, and
And they're
the
on
cool thing
eBay
is,
and
like,
StockX.
for real, yeah.
And some of them are signed.
but like grocery is even better because there's an expiration date. So like
Renewable.
You need to turn. They're buying a few.
I got them
or a
all.
few
I got the
times.
Cause Reese's. I got the 3-piece of the. I got the Travis Scott.
Us
I even
too,
did
bro.
the Pokemon one that recently where I was like, oh, the head guy. I don't even know, but I was like, yep, yeah, that's awesome. I love the artistry and how you guys pour who you are into it. It's very cool. It's always been cool to watch you guys' growth, and especially yours too, where you came up through. Like, what a journey.
Very
honestly.
unique.
I mean,
Honestly, you don't
like-
see a lot of like, you know, couples that have done all this and remain to keep just
Mandy's cool as fuck. Mandy is cool as fuck, man. And I'm super lucky. But when it comes to like work and friendship and relationship and like we're even though we're like a yin yang and a high and a low and a loud and a quiet, like
that's balance.
we yeah, for real.
That's balance.
He
It's
was my
super
levitator,
balanced,
yeah.
though. Like, I
If you're
wouldn't
the same, you
have
probably drive
ever-
each other crazy.
I would have never quit my job and done some other shit if it weren't for him.
And everybody tells me like, bro, I knew you had that shit inside you. You just needed the right person to like pull it out, you know?
Damn. That's beautiful.
Could we get one piece of advice to all the weed brands out there who want to design something?
Or to all the weed brands out there that there just is no brand. It's fucking, you go to an event, what's running through your guys' mind when you see some of this branding?
Mandy?
I would say, you have the internet at your fingertips. It's literally so easy to figure out how to do something through YouTube or to find out where there's a screen printer near you. You have the keys, you know?
I'm going to say something a little different, which is if you want that shit bad enough, you can make that shit happen, regardless how whack the brand is. If it doesn't have identity, whatever the case is, all those things will help you. But just like getting your shit in Zumiez doesn't mean shit. It means you went from playing football in high school to going into the NFL, and now you got to really fucking play. You're not competing against people who are doing pop-ups at farmers markets. You're competing against Nike and Adidas and all of these big corporate brands that have thousands of employees and shit, and will laugh you off the fucking shelf. It's not about getting this space. It's about turning that shit over and making your name synonymous. It's not easy, but it is possible. It's very fucking possible.
What's a key to keeping shelf space?
Just always being on that next new thing, you know? Some people drop and then it's 6 months till they drop something else. You got to keep your customer engaged somehow. Even if you can't produce a ton of products, you got to engage them with content or storytelling or whatever it is.
Yeah, we were talking to someone the other day about collections, and they were saying, hey, how often should it just be core items, or should we switch up the designs and switch up the products? And what's your guys' suggestion? And I said, like, it's always like a mixture of both. You want to test and chase as your first out, when something works. Okay, cool. This one works. I'm locking this one in. And then you keep test and chasing. And then when another one works, you lock that in. These things become your core, and then continue to test and chase. Like if those cores slow down, you need to
remix it.
Yeah, remix.
That's what I've been doing with the bags.
Rebrand it, or
they want new bags all the time. Like, cool, perfect. I'll throw paint splatter on this bag and redrop it. Now it fires off again.
Exactly.
Because like you said, they want something new every time.
And it's wet paint. It doesn't have to be only that graphic. There's a lot of ways to get wet paint across, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. It's like reimagining yourself, right? It's giving you a new artistic wave to be like, let me try again. Let me hit a grand slam instead of a home run.
Fucking it.
Let me come even harder, because I took the lessons I learned before and I saw how it played out. And now let me hit the gas on the next design.
Bro, I was a skater. I was a break dancer. I was a criminal. I was a rapper. Like, I've reinvented myself so many times. Like, it is possible for anybody to win. There's a lot of rappers who can't rap who have made a fucking amazing career because they put the blinders on and they believed in what they wanted to achieve.
Yep.
It's possible. Could the weed industry have a little help with design? Yeah, they should hit us up. We can help do some branding shit. But it's its own ecosystem too.
It's still on the farmer's market level. There is no big playing field yet. There kind of is becoming one, but really in a premature manner still.
It will happen. Yeah. But I do think it's still
indie,
on like a craft level, even though there's companies that are making millions and millions and millions and big corporate companies. But if people hate that shit now, bro, you better close your eyes because it's only going to become that once it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I do still think there's going to be a place for like craft and quality, but there's going to be a Budweiser, and there's going to be a lot of people who just fuck with that. Then there's going to be the Sam Adams and the craft beers and all that other shit. But and when you talk about success, it's like, truly, what is your idea of success? Because your idea of success might be somebody's failure, you know? And so it's really up to each person's individual own like definition of what they think success is when you're building a brand, you know?
That's why you gotta have those goals from the beginning. Like, what do you actually want? Some people might look at our brand and say, like, we're sellouts or whatever.
Yeah.
You got something in Walmart, you know? But for me, like, that was a goal.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, I've known people who have had a brand for a long time, and on their trajectory, they've done roughly, 75 million within years. I've known people who did 75 million in 1 year and smashed down. What's success? Which one was successful? You know?
Good point.
They're both successful, bro.
Yeah.
It's just on two different planes. Yeah.
And I like that you guys are on weekly drops, because in my mind, I was like, okay, monthly drops. But if you break it down to weekly drops, the consumer just, every time they're checking, they're having to play catch up, which is what you want, basically.
We want them coming back to the site all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our price point is also very affordable.
Yeah.
So I'm not asking you to like commit to a very big purchase, which you would if I drop seasonally, you know?
Right.
But I'm saying, my shit's more affordable, and I'm going to keep them coming, dude. I'm going to keep banging them over the head with it.
Is Fairfax dead?
Yeah. I'll answer that.
The swap isn't.
It's not the same as it used to be.
What,
you think
the
it's
Melrose? That's popping. Not farmer's market.
Yeah.
Is it going to come back? Is it cyclical, or is that maybe it's had its day?
I got a bigger question. Is streetwear dead?
No.
Nah. I don't think it.
Where does it live right now? Where do you even go buy streetwear? Like Karmaloop. It used to be a great hub to be like, oh, let me check out all these new brands.
It's direct.
It's direct. Yeah. I think there's a lot of really cool independent streetwear brands that have that scarcity model, that have that hype model.
Shout out Half Evil, shout out Ransom, shout out FTP.
Yeah. I mean,
so we
love those brands, but
how do you keep up with that though? It's like, seems like it's harder to like find it, or
with streetwear.
I mean, just like, it's like direct now, like you said. So it's like there's no more marketplaces. You would go to Fairfax and see.
It's social. Like the cool people are wearing cool brands.
Yeah.
And I think maybe before it was all about like you would rock with one brand. You were an FTP guy, and that's all you would shop, and you're always dripped in the same shit. But I feel like a lot of people be mixing it up and mixing vintage with rare streetwear or DIY made shit. And it's just, I think, it's either you're going a more commercial route, or you're just anti that and you're going vertical. And there's people making millions on both directions.
Yeah. There's a bunch of different ways to get it.
But how to seek it out? I mean, I find the cool shit on social. That's really where I'm finding it.
I love
crazy,
it,
man.
I've learned so much, and I really love the design aspect, obviously, and clothing of this side of the business of cannabis. And then to be able to take lessons from you guys' journey, both of you, and to apply it to how we view our brands. I mean, between you and Jerry, it was something you said really encapsulated another conversation we just had with the Tenko. And that was build a world around your brand, or around each part of your brand, like the collection.
I think they're like Zushi, the Tenga, like they're front runners, and like the Supreme model, the streetwear model for cannabis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They've managed to
shout
create
out to
a brand.
them. I need a hoodie, guys.
Yeah.
I try to get on your website and buy it. I don't know how, but I'm trying to make a purchase.
Good old scarcity model.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Yeah.
They have people go fucking crazy, and it's like they're at Complex Con and they're doing Rolling Loud collabs. A lot of shit that's breaking into these mainstream audience of like music and culture and fashion. And that's been harder for cannabis brands to do up until right now. So,
I mean, I truly think that people may have a misconception about that it's not possible, but it is, bro.
Totally.
All of that shit is possible. And it only takes one person to break that.
Yep.
And then everyone's like, well, fuck.
Yep.
They're either hating or they're trying to get in, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a question that I know will ring true to both of us. How do you find a good graphic designer? Because that's been one of the hardest things. I mean, in a 15
You just go to art school and learn like she did. I mean,
I know,
if
right?
you didn't do that, it probably.
We do take submissions now because I don't have time to do every single graphic. I still do a lot of them, but I don't do all of them. But
Not necessarily submissions, but we curate graphics from
You know who to hit up for
people.
certain stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like I still change it. Like I'll get it back and I'll still make modifications, change the layout, add our logos.
Also, because I be telling them the phrase to put on there and I misspell it, then they send it back misspelled. Then she's like, yo, what the fuck? These people can't even spell. I'm like, that's my bad. That's my
awesome.
bad.
It's broken promises with a B.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. It's been fucking awesome rapping with you guys. I know we're going to get into some talks after this on Off the Mic, which is basically our behind the scenes. Keep a lookout for Broken Promises. I mean, you guys aren't going anywhere. It's obvious of that.
Yeah.
Products all across the board, not just merch. And we'll keep following your journey, man. It's at Jason Promises.
Yeah, that's my personal. Then at Broken Promises CO is the brand page.
And at Mandee Bence is mine.
Fire. Brokenpromises.com or .co?
They won like 2 million for brokenpromises.com. So
You'll get
we're
it.
on Co.
Yeah.
We're on brokenpromisesco.com. We also got an app.
Fire.
You can download from Google Play or Apple Store. It's just Broken Promises
Sick.
on there. And you can shop
gotta
that
ask you guys about that too.
You get early access to the drops. We usually drop on Saturday, but you get early access from the app on Friday nights at 8.
Fire.
Yeah.
Yo, Jason, Mandy, Broken Promises. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming in. I'm going to rewatch this episode and take notes. So much game's been dropped, and I never really do that, but this has been a pleasure and an honor. We appreciate you guys coming through.
Yeah. And if you're a brand out there, I hope you listened and I hope you took notes from this episode and some of these branding geniuses we've had on here that have created a whole world around their brand and created business that they enjoy and love doing, right? Where it doesn't feel like work. So it's awesome to sit with people like you who will give us the answers and are also open. So people, if you need answers, I'm sure if you put some money in their pocket and ask some questions, you'll get them answered. So
Jason, you're awesome online. I mean, I know you're super helpful.
Yeah, I'm tapped in online, so you got anyone
Slide
can
in the DM. Jason will hit you
and
back
chat.
for sure.
Yeah, for real,
For sure.
for real. I might drop some free game. I have a hard time charging people just to tell them some of my ideas or my mind frame or slide in if anyone wants advice or even an alley oop on something. There's something we could figure out.
Hell yeah. All day, man. Jason, Mandy, Broken Promises. You know what it is. First smoke of the day. Let's go.
Let's go.